any screen shares whatsoever, I will be sure to stay away from that stop broadcast button. So, hey guys, what is going on? This is Travis B11. Welcome back to Caliber Corner episode number 72. All right, so again, we are running off the viewer suggested topics. Again, today we got a ton of them to go through for future episodes. And today we're going to talk about the basics of purchasing powder for reloading. What do you need to know? What should you purchase? What should you stay away from? Where to buy it at? Who's got the best prices? Experiences people on the panel have had with different kinds of reloading powder. The second part is going to be, if I had $3,000, what gun or guns would I buy? I try to focus on something that was right near that $3,000 limit, but the panel can suggest whatever they want. They could get their dream gun or a gun that's kind of a bucket list gun. And the last part is called Everyone Gets Tacos and French Fries. Now, as you know, the internet is not to the point where I can just hand tacos and French fries through the camera, but we do have a viewer by the name of Tacos and French Fries, and we really need to get this person on the show. This person gave us 4 really good questions they would like to have answered, so we're just going to run them through the panel. So they're all going to get a little bit of tacos and French fries today. And when you're done watching this podcast, go out and get yourself tacos and French fries. So real quick, let's go ahead and take attendance and see who's out there. Quite a few people, you know, I know it's probably going to be a slow morning for a lot of people. We're starting to go into the holidays and stuff, and people are on the road and so on. So again, if we don't have a lot of people with us this morning, I get it. We're all busy. Over on the gun channel side, we got Paper Plane Crash going on, and we got Jim over there, and Jim's over here. Good morning, guys. Over here on the on the YouTube side, Tacos and French Fries has just checked in. Nice, appreciate it, Travis. Hey, like I said, I love those suggested topics because it gives us a good variety, and we don't ever run out of stuff to talk about. I was looking at the topics last night, and we have a ton. We can go forever. So Tacos and French Fries is out there. Jim is out there. Sketchy Roll, get yourself a cup of coffee or two. John Z, good morning, sir. Cadillac Jack in the house. Scott P79. Southpaw's with us. Good morning. Gasper Ajnik is with us too. Gasper, really cool person I've been chatting with on the side there. Sketchy Roll, how you doing? WB in the house. And back to Travis B11. So real quick here, let's go ahead and let the panel introduce themselves, and then we'll get started talking about our topics. So share what's on your mind, plug your channel, get your word out there, whatever you want to do. Tony, we will begin with you. What's going on, buddy?
Not a lot going on here. Just waiting to go pick up the old lady and go to a birthday party for my grandkid this afternoon. Otherwise,
all right. Is this grandkid going to be receiving a firearm for the birthday, or is this a little youngin?
Already got a firearm from Grandpa, so
there you go. All right.
He's going to receive $20, I think.
Ammo money. That's good.
There you go.
Go get yourself a brick of 22 LR. Did you buy a Cricket? Is that what you started off with, or what?
Yeah, I bought 4 or 5 of them.
Yeah. How are those, man? Are they pretty solid? Are they decent? Good starter rifles for kids? I've seen videos on them. Never fired one, but
they're one of those guns that's surprisingly fun to mess around with.
Yeah. When I see they have different versions, like there's like a tactical model you can get, and they have, you know, the little pistol version also that you can buy, and that's pretty cool, man. What do they run you? Like a little over $100?
$114 at Walmart.
Okay. Cool. Good stuff. Hey guys, I'm boosting up Tony's volume just a little bit, so if it's a bit loud, give me a holler. I can adjust that. So, all right. So Tony, again, last time I'll bug you for this. Are we going to see ourselves a little early watch action in January, or what?
I'm hoping so. Right now, I'm just still trying to figure out how to stabilize this damn internet.
Okay.
So,
well, you're with us. I mean, we can hear you pretty good. Maybe looking to get in some sort of a signal booster, or maybe a different. You're running right off your phone though, right?
Yes.
Okay. And that can be kind of tricky sometimes with reception. So, and I know it's 10 degrees, but maybe just go sit outside. You'll get better reception the whole time.
No.
Take the recliner outside, and you're good to go, man. Oh, crazy stuff. All right. Well, Tony, thanks for being with us. We look forward to seeing that if it's going to happen. And we'll go from there. So, all right, Squibby in the house. What's new in your world, man? How you doing?
Doing all right today.
Good deal. You got your coffee? Got your extra?
I got some coffee in my Henry Repeating Arms coffee mug.
Excellent.
So I'm here at the reload bench with my C4 defense hat. I got powder over here in case we need a visual reference, I guess. Powder, I mean, up close you can see the different shapes and whatnot, so I don't think the camera's going to have that sort of resolution.
Well, no, you can. The main thing is just like, what are some solid brands? If somebody wants to go out and buy powder today, somebody's getting into reloading, you know, what's a tried and true? Is there such a thing as that in the world of powder? You know, what do you need to know if you're going to get into it? We've had a reloading chats, but yeah.
Yeah, with reloading, it's not a matter of this brand is better than that, or this manufacturer is better than that, or this powder is better than that. Each powder does a different thing in different cases for different calibers with a different result. Bullet weight has something to do with it. Environment has something to do with it. At the end of the day, the more things that you reload, probably the wider variety of powders you have. That's why I've got 1 pound jugs, not 4 and 8. I need to get 4 and 8 of powders I use more of, like this. But I think that if somebody's getting into reloading as they go along, they start messing with formulas like a mad scientist, they may end up with a big collection if they're reloading multiple calibers.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it can be just a maze, and you could be running around in circles and never quite get the formula right. So anything that we got there. So John Z is looking for a link. If somebody can get John Z a link, go ahead and do that real quick. Or actually, I might be able to do it too. But you guys try to get him a link real quick, and we'll keep running through the panel here. We'll get him in here with us. All right, so Squib, thanks for joining us. And again, you say that you're always on multiple shows. You do a lot of different programs, and you got a few videos in the works right now. You're just kind of getting the editing part of it figured out and gonna get that channel going.
Yeah, I mean, what's funny is my worst video has the most views, which...
Oh, no, that's how it always is. Don't worry. Remember, you shouldn't even try on YouTube. That's the key to being successful. Do as little as possible, and then, you're good
honestly,
to go. So.
Travis, at first I was interested in looking at the views.
Yeah.
I was interested in looking and seeing how many people view and for how long. Then after a while, I just said, I'm not worried about it. I mean, I picked up 2 subscribers yesterday, and that's nice. I appreciate that when people sub to my channel, but I'm really not looking for numbers. I'm doing this for fun. Sometimes it feels a little bit like work, but if it feels too much like work, it just back off and, let life take over and then get back to it. My videos aren't the best quality. I'm not going to brag and say I'm the best. I'm having fun with this. So if you want to watch the videos and have a little fun along the way, have a little fun, maybe you might learn something, maybe you might not. I'm open to comments, good and bad. If somebody says, "Hey, man, that you were entirely wrong on that," or even suggest, "Hey, did you try this?" Or I'm not worried about constructive criticism. Or I'm doing this. I'm doing this for fun. I watched a guy I was subscribed to last night blow up on air because he had a touchy subject. And for 3 days, he's been ranting on this subject.
Oh my God.
And he really got a bunch of his subscribers mad. And then last night, he just blew an 8-minute rant at his subscribers. And I'm going, dude, don't take it so serious. Jeez.
When you get that first set of criticism, we start getting, suggestions from people or criticism from people. You're going to have people that will just outright insult you. You got to get a thick skin. You just got to get used to it. You can use it as a growing experience to make your channel better, I think. I try to respond to absolutely every person that leaves a comment for me on every single video. I know that sounds insane, but if you look at my videos, you'll see it. And you get used to that. And a lot of times when people will call you out on something or they'll insult you or say something, you call them out on it and say, well, then go on out there and make a better video. And then they're always quick to turn around. Oh, I was just giving you a hard time, man. I was just kidding. So you get used to it. But then again, you got to be very respectful of your viewers because even the littlest things can set a viewer off. And I'm surprised sometimes with the things that people comment on. Like I'll be doing a really cool cleaning video and somebody says, "Hey, man, I eat those Pop-Tarts too." How do you respond to that? It's like, hey, right on, bro. But
still, I mean, the interaction is really nice. It's nice when you get a sub. It's nice when you get a comment. It's nice when you get but if I don't, I'm not going to be like, oh man, nobody thumbed up this video. Okay, fine, whatever. I'm having fun. If you want to have fun too, I can say this for anybody out there who hasn't made a video or hasn't made very many videos or hasn't made a variety of videos, tried to shoot them inside, outside, tried to shoot them while they're on vacation, had to edit them, whatever it is. Until you do it, you don't get a real appreciation. I can tell you, I'm using Microsoft Movie Maker. All right, it's free. It comes with the operating system. I'm not even spending money on software right now. If I was spending money on software, I'd probably have a little bit better quality video. I could probably do a little bit more. I've got this under $50 camera, which does the job. This is my second camera. The first one fried. So this one, I've already beat on it a little bit, and I'm going to end up having to get a second one at some point. Okay. But I mean, inexpensive. You know, I know there's software out there that you every year you're paying your $40, $50. So, and this is just under 50. The micro SD card is not that expensive. I mean, so I on the cheap, I can still make stuff, and I could probably do a better job of it. And that's part of the fun. It's kind of like a hobby or whatever. But you know, just anybody out there who sees my videos, if you don't think the quality is very well, don't take them too seriously. They're not meant necessarily to be a joke. Although sometimes you might roll your eyes and go, "Really, dude?" But I'm having fun with it.
It can be a lot of work, and it can be a lot of fun. But you got to try to mix the fun with the work. You know, that's a big part of it. You got to be willing to dedicate a lot of time to it. So it's Squib, you for some reason when you're talking, it's going black. It's not showing your little thumbnail, your little avatar. Do you know that? Like we just have a black screen when you're talking. I didn't know if maybe it's your camera, or maybe are you doing something different with your phone this time?
Let me hit it on something. How's that?
Oh man, I don't know about that. So tell you what, we're gonna back it up real quick. We just had an outlaw show up here, so we're gonna let Ellis go and introduce themselves, and Squib, we'll see if we can. Okay, Squib, we'll see if we can figure that out. Hey Ellis, what's going on this morning, brother? How you doing, man?
Hey guys, how's everybody?
Oh man, are you going into work? Or are you gonna be with us for a while?
Nope. I go to work in about an hour.
Okay, so in case we don't get to it by the time we get to you, if you had $3,000 to spend on a gun, Ellis, what would you buy?
CZ805 Bren.
Oh, okay, cool. So I'm writing a couple of
that was easy.
Yeah, there you go. I know I kind of had to ponder it a lot last night, so that's all right, man. Cool. So Ellis, what's new with your channel? What's going on? What do you know, man?
Oh, well, let's see. Real quick, I'm doing the 500 sub giveaway thing.
Cool.
I've got a video out. Still waiting on people to put some replies out there to it, and I ain't seen none yet. So,
we better get busy on that. I'll do that today.
Yep. Still waiting on that. Other than that, not a whole lot, man.
Cool. Just staying busy working and doing your thing, right?
Yep, pretty much.
Cool, man.
And work is picking up. I mean, really, I've got one day off in the next week and a half.
Yeah. Well, and it's going to be like that all the way through the new year, guaranteed. Then you got tax season coming up where a lot of people going out and buy themselves firearms once the rebate checks start showing up and so on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
But
all right, man. Cool.
I'm living the dream.
There you go. I know you are, man. Yeah, this is about as close as I can get what you see in here. So, oh, man. Good stuff. All right, man.
I have never made a video, so I understand exactly what Squib's saying.
Yeah, it's crazy. You know, that little 10-minute ranged video that I'll make actually took me 4 or 5 hours to put it together, sometimes more. Packing up, going out, shooting, coming back, cleaning everything up, running the video, uploading. It's amazing how much time it takes to make a little 10 or 15-minute video. I can see why movies take years to make, you know.
There's a secret to it, guys. It's really simple. Don't edit. I don't edit.
Well, I mean, I got a lot of footage where I'm walking to turn the camera on, walking back, you know, driving out to get the camera back from the target and all that fun stuff.
Well, yeah, I understand that, but as far as just shooting the video, I don't worry about editing. Whatever messes up, and it stays.
Okay. No, fair enough, dude. Don't worry about it. All right, man. Awesome. Speaking of real quick of giveaways, Ghost and Clover had their Christmas sweepstakes last night. That was a lot of fun to watch. So make sure you guys check out Ghost Tactical and Clover Tac.
They said my name wrong. They said my name wrong.
Who? How? What?
Yeah, they said my name wrong. They pronounced it wrong when they announced the winner.
They announced it as the Gun Snob. Is that right? The real Gun Snob?
I don't know how you can mispronounce Sandhills like
You're the Gun Snob with that fancy.
No. I'm pretty sure I heard them say Sandhill Shooter.
You know them Texas guys don't know how to read.
Oh, that's right. And one of them is a Marine, so you know. Hey, he makes fun of himself all the time. So I'm just saying.
Yeah, what was that thing about Marines and crayons?
Had to eat them or something? I can't remember.
I guess.
You got to put like a string on them so they don't eat the whole crayon and swallow it or something. I don't.
I think as Squib, I think he was a Marine.
Was?
Well, see, he had so many crayons.
Oh yeah, right. It is because standing order. Yeah, I got it.
Oh, nice.
There's no such thing as was, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, not unless you're dead.
Okay, let's keep moving down the line to the introductions here. So, Sandhill Shooter, what is new on your channel? What's going on? How's your life going, buddy?
Oh, life's just super great. Thanks for the invite. You can catch me over on Sandhill Shooter channel, usually Tuesday nights at 9 o'clock Central Time. which we all know is the only time zone that matters.
Exactly.
There's only one more before next year. Since Christmas and New Year's both are on a Tuesday, we're going to take a couple weeks off and not do shows those nights. But tune in this Tuesday night for info on a giveaway. That's all I'm going to say.
Man, if you just follow gun channels, you got a chance to win all kinds of free stuff, man. I mean, there's all kinds of giveaways going on. As the channel starts to grow, people start giving back to the viewers and stuff, and you can really do well. By the way, I had a blast on your last Tuesday chat. That was you guys need to check out 2A Tuesday, the chat that we had. It was talking about, how would you summarize the chat? I don't want to say it wasn't women shooters.
The concept started there, but women aren't the only group of individuals who sometimes are facing a bigger, stronger attacker. I mean, it's typical, the average body size, the average female is smaller than the average size attacker.
Yeah.
But, a lot of guys have physical impairments or are just diminutive in size. And so it doesn't matter how big or how, you are, how big you aren't, if you're packing, it's a great equalizer. So, or if there's more than one attacker, or if your attacker comes in a pack of dogs or coyotes or something. So there's all kinds of different scenarios why it's good to be armed.
Oh, yeah. I was walking my little pooch this morning about 5:30, my corgi, and we were walking back to the house, and about 50 yards away from where we were, he just perked up and turned around immediately and just gave a little gruff, and there was a freaking giant, I don't know what it was. I thought it was a wolf running around the neighborhood. I think it was a huge husky, like off the leash. This thing was, and I was like, oh, great. That thing was running around this morning, and it probably was a little bit hungry, and I was carrying. So that's things like that, Yeah, I mean, with dogs and stuff, you really got to be careful. There's a lot of irresponsible dog owners, like you said, and man, you never know when something's going to happen. So you always got to be armed and ready.
Yep, absolutely.
Cool.
I'll go find a link to just the whole 2A Tuesday playlist.
Do it.
And, I'll throw that over in the chats.
You had some stellar guests last Tuesday too. We had some really cool guests. John, you had some great guests on last week. So you guys make sure you check out that channel. Make sure you check out that podcast. It's definitely a lot of fun. So a lot of good information out there for people.
Yep. And thanks as always for letting me join you this morning.
Hey, no problem, man. Awesome. Okay, Nice Strike. What is new in your world, brother? How you doing, man?
I said I wasn't going to be here, and I ended up attending this morning. Whatever.
How late did you guys go on the Night Strudel gaming session over on NEA Match channel?
Oh, we finished another round or two, and then we ended it. And
all right.
Then I went to bed.
So what's new for the channel? What's coming up in the 2019? You got any big plans?
Hopefully more videos. Hopefully bringing back the backyard chats and shooting in the backyard, and all that good stuff.
Let it warm up a little bit so you can get outside, and of course it's probably warm where you're at anyway. But
no, it's just there's been a lot of rain. I'm gonna let it dry first.
Yeah. Yep. Cool, man. Cool. Well, guys, make sure you check out Nice Strike Show, hit or miss, Tuesday nights at 9:00 Eastern time. All right, make sure you check it out. That's 8:00 Central time for those of you that live in civilization. So keep that in mind. So
hardy har.
No, but Hit or Miss is a great show. Do check it out. It's a lot of fun. There's always great topics, and it definitely keeps you in the know about what's going on with firearms rules and laws and just anything in general. So it's a lot of fun to be there. Cool, man. All right, John Z. John Z, have you ever been on Caliber Corner before or not?
Yes, sir, I have. You
haven't. Earlier on. You're with us. So what's going on, man? What's new in your world, buddy?
How have you been? Not much. I was just working online, listening to some people's videos, and I just want to remind everybody there are some pretty awesome chats with folks on the panel as well as other people in the gun community, and there's some really awesome chats, and they're good quality chats. They're family friendly for the most part, most of them, and you really need to catch it because whatever side of the fence you're on about certain topics, a lot of these guys, and men and women, there are some women too, who have these chats, and they make a lot of sense, and they really make you think. So what I was doing this morning is I was helping someone edit their video for the men's health challenge. It's basically people going out and cooking steak out in the bush, and then discussing some of the mental health issues they've been involved with directly, whether it was someone in their family or their friends and whatnot. And I was just listening to his video. I've listened to other people's video, but I was listening to his video, and because I was editing it, and it was just something. It hits you hard, even if you don't know the person, face to face. It's just so. There's a challenge now for people to get out on YouTube and do this type of video. So if you know somebody who has done this, have them tag you, and then tag somebody else and just discuss. You don't have to get too personal. Some people do.
Yeah.
And I just think it's a really important subject that's not being discussed enough. And other things are being blamed for things when it's really mental health crisis that's going on. So I just want everybody to be aware of that.
All right.
So,
and again,
for the invitation. I appreciate being on your panel when I can. It's always
no problem, man. Cool. And with the power of social media, you can use it for good, you can use it for bad. This is definitely one of those times where you can use it for good and get the word out there. Whether it's anybody dealing with depression issues or anxiety, or people that that need help, or veterans issues, there's a lot of hurting people out there, and I think we can definitely do our part. We need to get out there and bring awareness to that, because it's just you can start to get into suicide numbers and this and that, and there's a lot of people that need help out there, man. All right, so John Z, thanks for joining us, man. I do appreciate it. John, you might want to start doing some window shopping, because one of the topics is going to be what gun would I buy if I had $3,000. So you might want to go set a price point like on Gunbroker or something.
I could just tell you right now it's a 50 BMG. So if you got one lying around in your closet and you don't need it,
give us a model, give us a trim, and let us know what barrel size you want to go with. What are you gonna
anything that takes a 50 BMG, I'm good with. I don't care what's somebody else.
Can you own that? Can you get that in New York or not? This is just you can get them in bolt action.
I can't even get the trigger for that.
$3,000 is a bit low for 50.
I know.
No, it ain't either, because somebody was just on the.
Can you get an Armalite for that
morning show that said their shop in Florida had a bolt Barrett for like $3,000.
That's pretty awesome.
I fired this. There's an Armalite AR-50A1 that has an MSRP of $33.59. You could probably come pretty close to getting it for $3,000. Because that's lit.
Christmas and Christmas and my birthday are within close time frame. Okay. Just FYI for your guys' information. So you want to pull together, however it works for you.
Yeah,
I have a local coal sales.
In January.
I have a local coal sales place here. We can take care of that.
We got to get John out of New York first, and then after that we can go from there, I think. So,
well, John, my birthday's on the 19th of this month, so mine's first. So just send it out.
If you need other people to help you and you work in one of the best shops on the planet, then maybe I should have your job. I don't know.
John, it's probably time to move on, buddy.
Hopefully next 12 months it might happen.
Nice. There you go. AWAG might be looking for a roommate. AWAG's looking at moving, getting down south and getting out of New Jersey because he wants to.
I heard his depressive speech he had the last couple of chats that he's been on with everything going on in Jersey.
Well, see, look, you guys are East Coast bros. You can swing by and pick him up, or he can pick you up, or whatever. You guys can just head south and start over.
We got to grab Rob D on the way out too.
Oh yeah, and exactly. You just got to get everybody and get out of there, man.
Yeah.
Especially if it ain't going to get any better over the next couple of years, man. It's
unfortunately that's the way it's looking.
It's what I call letting the inmates run the asylum is what it turns into. So,
oh yeah.
All right, so I'm running down the panel here. Jim Burgess is with us. Jim, what's new in your world, bud? How you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm trolling Gunbroker. Did you know that when you're looking at price ranges, you can select a radio button for up to $83,000 or
really?
$166,000.
Does that get you like an electric minigun, or what is that? What can you score for?
I really got to check that. I limited it to 3,000, but
is there like a semi-meteorite 1911 you can buy that has like one panel on it instead of two? That's 83,000 instead of $1 million, or
crazy.
It is crazy. It is. I know the $3,000 price point's it's a lot of fun because I don't ever think that high when it comes to buying guns that expensive, and when you get a chance to kind of play around, it's like, ooh, I like that. It's like window shopping for cars, It's awesome. All right, man. So Jim, thanks for joining us. Appreciate you being with us today, and it's always good to have you on the show. You've been on a lot of different shows, a lot of our shows, and a lot of other panels too. So
thanks for the invite.
All right, man. Cool. David Bowling, what's going on, man? The Kingpin is with us this morning. What do you know, brother?
Good morning, everybody. Thanks for having me, Travis. Always a pleasure.
All right, I've been having a lot of fun watching your channel. What's new, man? What do you got coming up? You got any not really range tests coming up, but any shooting range videos you're going to be doing or anything like that?
Well, humbly as always, my content is the best in the internet history. So, right, I mean, Martin Scorsese is calling me right now asking for production tips.
Yeah. Well, that's what happens
I don't
when you
put
get a big
out
time
any content. That's because I don't put out any.
I got 3 videos lined up. Just need to figure out when. I don't want to release 3 in one day. Then
I do. I'm just messing with you.
I'll probably put out.
That's the only one I wanted to take down VidMe.
I finally got my firearms inventors playing deck nice. Video shot. So the first one of that'll come out. It'll be on Henry Derringer, and actually it's going to be on Henry Derringer Senior instead of Junior. That's kind of what took me so long to get it done. Is I started researching the father more than I did the son. And then I have a 22 Magnum Henry lever action rifle, nice. And a 45 Long Colt Henry that I got to do videos on.
Cool, and man. Again, it's watching the channel grow and watching you come up with some new content and everything. And I think you're going to like this one. I got a couple more Ruger Precision Rifle videos coming up too, so I think you're going to have fun with that since you're the Ruger guy.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Is that don't say yes or no, but $3,000 would get you a nice little Ruger Precision Rifle and a decent optic setup and some good ammo and. Well, I don't know. So
that's a Ruger is definitely going to be my answer for the $3,000 question.
All right. Well, look around. They might have some different models or editions or versions that you didn't realize that they made. When you really start to get into those options and stuff, it's crazy what's out there. So, all right. So good stuff. So we got a lot of people that are joining us. And again, thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for checking it out. I'll probably be holding off on a giveaway for a little while here. I'll have one in a couple months. I did a lot. I did a 500, 1,000, a 5,000, and I think a 9 or a 10. So, and I'll be having another one here pretty soon. So we'll do something fun for you. So we're going to go ahead and start off. So the question that we had from the viewer was, hey, I'm thinking about getting into reloading. And these are all questions that are over on the 10,000 subscriber giveaway video that I made. What do I need to know if I'm going to start buying gunpowder for reloading? So we've got some awesome reloading. I'm going to call these guys experts on the panel. These guys have been reloading for a long time. And again, it can be a complicated maze when it comes into buying it, especially if you're taking advice from friends or you're getting into forums and this one's better and that one's better. This company makes great powder. This one performs better. I've had bad luck with that. You can really just be running around in circles, wasting time and money. So whoever wants to start this one up, if you're going to just buy powder for the first time, where do you go for advice? What do you need to know? We're not really going to let's just pretend that you know how to reload. Now it's time to buy powder. Or maybe you're considering some other brands. All right, where do you guys begin buying powder for reloading? What do you guys want to do?
You look in your reload manual. You look under the caliber that you're going to reload. You look at the bullet weight that you're going to be using, and it'll suggest powders. Well, it'll tell you what's safe to use, what you should be using, and then you go get those powders. I recommend that if you are starting out reloading, or if you're testing out a new powder on a new caliber, or it's maybe it's even a powder that you might be able to use on multiple calibers, because some things you can use on multiple calibers. Just get a 1-pound jug of it to start off with and see how well it works. It's not that the stuff is defective or that one company makes a better powder than another. It's just you may not have the results that you want when you're out there shooting. I've had some powders. For example, I'm reloading. I don't know, 7.62 by 25 Tokarev. I've tried a couple different formulas with that. I mean, you shot one of my Tokarev pistols, Travis. You saw some of the hang-ups that it was having, and part of it was I didn't have the slide oiled properly. But another part was, in my opinion, I think the powder. I've noticed a couple powders work better than a few others because I was trying different formulas. There would be multiple different powders that you could use to safely reload that caliber, and some of them are going to produce higher velocity. Some of them are going to give it a little bit more power to kind of work that slide and allow it to feed. And I think some of my problems have to do with my reloads not putting a heavy enough charge in there to replicate a military load that would I mean, those are some hot rounds, and I don't think I was loading them hot enough. But I noticed that certain powders I was able to be a little bit more conservative with, and it would still cycle the gun. So there's different things that you're going to look for when you're trying out a new powder for the first time. That's why I say don't jump in and get 4 pounds or 8 pounds of it. Spend over $200 and you find out that you don't like it. It's not going to work for you. But once you start using it a lot, let's see here. If my camera's on, I don't know. Can you guys see?
Yeah, it is.
All right, so here's AR comp. Here's something I've been using for my 5.56 and 2.23 reloads. And I'm using bullets that are in the 50 to 55 grain range. And I've got some pretty good results with AR comp, so much so that I went through my first 1 pound jug of it, and I needed some more right away, and the local place only sells it by the pound. So I had to go and spend, I think this is about $45 for a pound of it, whereas I could get 4 pounds, I think, for about double that. For about $90, I could get 4 pounds, but none of the local places have this in 4 pound jugs. I'd have to order it online. So this one is going to be one of my go-tos for the reloads for when I take the family to the range and my teenage son eats through 400 or 500 rounds in an afternoon. And it's not to say that some of the other powders that I've used are bad, that they haven't worked. Let's see,
So I need to ask you a question here. The numbering system behind the powder, is that a universal, or does every brand have their own numbering system for the powder?
Each brand has their own. None of it's universal. Okay. So just because you like a certain brand because they make more of a variety of powders doesn't mean that those numbers necessarily translate over. Here's another one I've used for 223. Obviously, CFE, which is it's a cleaner burning powder, 223. This works just fine. If I was going to really do up a bulk amount of plinking ammunition, and I was at a store that sold both of these in 4 or 8 pound jugs, but they only had one in stock, I'd be fine with either or, just based off my results. Now, if we were talking about something maybe a little bit more precision or match grade, maybe I'd use another powder, like the 4064, which I use this mostly for 30-06 Springfield and 8mm Mauser. This is the first powder I bought, actually, because I started off just like Midnight Range TM, reloading for 8mm Mauser. Sure. And this one was in the book, and I noticed that I went and looked at a couple other calibers that I would consider reloading later on down the road, and what do you know? It's used for that. And so that's something that you want to look at is, if you're just reloading 2 calibers and you're just staunch about this is it, all I'm going to reload, and I don't care about anything else, then it doesn't really matter. But if you're like, I wonder if this would work, in every rifle caliber that I've got, because later I'm going to get some dies or something, then you want to go and look up those calibers in the manual and find out a powder. Maybe that way you can get the most bang for your buck. If you can use the same powder on 4 or 5 different calibers, and you're starting out and you're trying things, it's not a bad way to go.
Yeah.
Let's see, where's another?
Well, it gets a shitload less complicated in a way with handguns, because there are several handgun powders that will do about every handgun cartridge out there.
Yeah. Like accurate number 5, accurate number 7, accurate number 9.
So what you're saying is, if you buy this powder and it says good for 223 or good for 5.56, let's just say that brand is not listed in your reloading manual, but the weight of the grain you're supposed to use. Should you use that brand of powder if it's not in your book?
No, if it's not in your manual, don't use it.
Let's get some safety information out there for people real quick. So that's one thing. You need to get it you need to make sure it's in your manual, that grade, that brand, that specific type, because powder varies tremendously between brands. Even the structure of it can have a different burn rate, and that can cause some serious problems. So what's some other safety info if you're going to be buying powder?
Okay, so look at it like this. It's an investment. When there's an ammo shortage and you can still make your own, it's an investment. So if somebody looks at a $50 reload manual and goes, dang, that's a lot of money. Well, a lot of this stuff costs a lot of money.
Yeah.
But you can go online and you can get free reload data for different calibers from different manufacturers. If you go onto the manufacturers' websites, they've got some of that stuff. Either the bullets or the powders manufacturers have free reload data. You can even print it off if you want. And I've used some of that data. It works just fine. But I've got 2 manuals. I need to get a 3rd or 4th one. Every couple of years they update them. It's worth the money to have that because it's nice to have that go-to.
Yeah, a couple that we recommend. I did purchase the Lyman 50th edition reloading manual for $32 on Amazon. You can get the Kindle version for $20, and it's a lot of fun to read. It's very interesting because it's not just you're just not just reading technical specifications, and they really do make the book enjoyable to read. It does make it. It's not intimidating either. And furthermore, if you're going to be getting into reloading, again, I don't want to make a reloading chat, but get into something like gunchannels.com. There's a lot of people that do reloading over there. If you need advice, maybe do a hangouts with somebody, obviously not live on YouTube, but they could walk you through the process of reloading. And Squib, you gave me print offs for the powder that you gave me when you came to visit. And it's very easy to follow once you have the equipment that you need. Okay, so this is what you're going to run into if you look up powder in your manual, right?
So here's a Hornady manual. You see this is for a 240 grain bullet for 44 Magnum. And here's all your different powders. I don't know how well this is showing up.
Yeah, we can see it fairly well. Yeah.
So here's all your different powders, right? Okay. And here's your different weights to start off with. And in the red, this is the max. Now, with the Hornady book, I've noticed this is fairly accurate. With that Lyman book, it's a little conservative. If you load to the max on the Lyman, you may not really be loading to the max. I think they're trying to CYA. But here's an example. This is right off the Hodgdon website. Hodgdon is a powder manufacturer. Okay. And here's 45 ACP. And here's Hodgdon is Hodgdon, Winchester, IMR, and maybe another one are all together. They're all the same company. Here's the different powders. And then they give you all the information, the case overall length, the bullet diameter, blah, 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 blah. And they've got, let's see, where is it? Here's the grains of powder that correlate to the particular. So let's say you were loading 45 and you were loading 9mm or whatnot. Go back through the book, look up 9mm, go back through the website, look up 9mm and find out, say, if they can both use CFE pistol. Okay, they can both use CFE pistol. All right, I'm going to get a pound of that and try that out and see how well it works. And then maybe, you start off moderate and you fire it. And, if it just doesn't seem to really have a whole lot of kick or you're having issues with the slide cycling, then from there, maybe you go, all right, I'm not going to go to the max, but I'm going to crank it up a little bit. And then you fire it and you go, oh, this is working good. And that's what you record in your reload data is, hey, use this formula next time I do some 9mm 45 reloads. So every one of these will go bang inside of a case, but they're not all necessarily meant for, this is what I use in 44 Magnum and 44 Special, and I think it'll work in some rifle cartridges, but it's not meant for everything. And I think I've got in here, where is it?
When you get into this, definitely start off easy. So real quick, Squib, there's some advice coming from the YouTube side. Calaveras 32 Special says buy 2 to 3 different manuals and cross-reference. Some are more conservative than others. They also list different powders. That's what I did. I bought the Lyman and the Lee reloading manuals, I think is what I got.
Those are the two I always recommend, the Lyman and Richard Lee's.
Yeah, the Lee and Lee manual is really fun to read too. It's pretty interesting.
This one says smokeless, Magnum, shotgun, and handgun powder. So you can use this for shotgun shells and for handgun. I use this in 45 ACP.
Okay.
I think I've used this one. I might have used this one in another pistol caliber, but it's really a shotgun powder. And there's another. I thought I had red dot in here. I've got green dot, which is a shot. That's another one. It's a shotgun powder, but I use it in handguns. I thought I had red dot, but I don't see it. So I need to run to the store and get some red dot. But sometimes you can use shotgun powder for handgun loads. It really just depends. So you really need to consult your manual and like I said, I started off with this because I was going to reload 8mm Mauser, but I said, well, I know I'm going to want to reload 30-06. I know I'm going to want to reload it, and just flip through the manual and found out that this one works in some of those. So it's not that one powder brand is better than another, one type is better than another, one works with everything. Although, unique. That seems to work with pretty much everything, but I wouldn't say just buy that and that's all you need.
Yeah, start off conservative, start off small until you get more comfortable with getting into reloading, and then do it the right way. Obviously, you want to be very careful, follow the specs, follow every safety precaution, and then once you're more comfortable with it, you can start to look into other brands and start to analyze performance, get a chronograph, and see how the rounds fire, your speed. I mean, you check and see if one powder is performing better than another, and you can grow even more in that area.
And Tony, correct me if I'm wrong. It isn't Varget the one that isn't susceptible to temperature extremes? You can use it in really, really cold temperatures.
It's not supposed to be.
Right. I was advised to get Varget because it works really good in rifle cartridges, but also up here in Michigan, if you happen to be out on a cold day, although deer season, it's not really that cold, but if you were hunting in really, really cold weather, supposedly that doesn't affect this where it might affect other powders. And if you're trying to get every grain of powder, almost every grain, to burn so you can get maximum performance out of that cartridge, because I mean, I've thrown chunks of powder down the barrel after the bullet flies out, and there's been some of the more beefy, grainier powders. Sometimes they don't burn everything, and that might be the temperature affecting it, the humidity. It could be a lot of different things, but it could be the primer. It could be, but this one was recommended to me because it doesn't, cold weather doesn't seem to affect it. So there's different characteristics that you can find out that might be a little bit more conducive to your shooting environment too.
Okay. What about storage? What do you guys need to know about powder storage once you open it?
Climate controlled area.
Okay. Silica gel packs in there or anything? Once you open it, is it going to go bad within a certain amount of time or anything? Or
no.
No.
As long as you keep it in a climate controlled area where it's not jumping up and down in temperature and moisture, it'll last
forever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I've got a tin of black powder, and I realize this is smokeless powder. It's not the same thing, but it's in a metal container. They don't sell it. That manufacturer doesn't sell it in metal containers anymore. That's how old this stuff is. I bought it new 20 years ago, almost 20 years ago, and it still works today because I keep it sealed. You can see there's a styrofoam. You end up peeling the styrofoam off and just shove it inside the cap, and that makes a good seal. Always make sure they're tight, not just so that moisture doesn't get in there, but also if you knock this thing over and the cap flies off, you just spilled $45 worth of powder.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's another one. Let's see, they've got it already built into it, and these things, just make sure you seal them tight. You can see there's dust all over them because some of these I just have not used in a while. But I definitely need more because I load such a variety of powders.
I want to touch on something about weather, and the cold weather especially. Now, I have never had an issue with weather that I'm willing to go out and be with a gun in affecting the powder. Honestly, I don't go out when it's 0. But, I've seen or read where it's happened to people, but it's not ever been an issue with me, and I use numerous different kinds of rifle powder. So that's more of a selling gimmick, I think. I use a lot of the 4064 and Varget, but I really can't tell much difference between the two of those. They're really similar performing.
Yeah, so, I agree.
Just a little bit more coming from the YouTube side over there. Calaveras is also saying, make sure you check out the Reloaders Network, I think is what he called it. It's a website that's online that looks like it'd be a good place to network with people if you need some information. Yeah, the Reloaders Network. So you can do a Google search on that. It'll pop up. Stan is out there, and he said that the precision shooters around here use you call it what, Hogden? Hogden is a brand? Is that what you said? Hodgdon or Hogden?
Hogden.
Hogden, H4350, and Varget. That's what a lot of the precision shooters around here happen to shoot. So
yeah, the Reloaders Network is a bunch of good dudes.
Okay.
It's like Scotsman, Chico Wise, the kind of people you'll see over in like foreign and domestic. A lot of them are in the Reloaders Network.
Now, anybody else on the panel have any experience with reloading? I have everything I need except the press. I'm just going to break down and buy one. I've got a dude that wants to sell me a rock chucker, so I'm gonna look into that, a used one.
That's a good one to start with.
Just something basic to get into. He's going to give me a good price on this. I'm going to get a hold of him.
I don't think you have a scale yet.
No, I need that and a press, and that's it. I'm ready to go. I've got everything: brass, primers, bolts. Thanks to you.
Well, okay. So the digital scale I was using finally just crapped out on me, and I got around to getting another digital scale, and I need to do the video on this. Although there's a bunch of other people have done this. I mean, it's a $30 scale. It works, whatnot. The reason I didn't bring you a new digital scale was I was trying to find one that I had used before, and I'd only used one kind, and I guess you can only get it online. You can't find it at the stores or whatnot. But I didn't want to bring you a scale that I hadn't tried myself. Nothing I gave you was anything new. Everything I gave you was something I've used and I know works. That's not to say that there's a bunch of crap out there. There's a lot of good stuff out there, and certain people, tend to like this process or that process over another one. But I would have brought you more stuff if I had tested out more stuff. So
I want to say that when you're looking at data, do not blindly trust data you find on the internet.
No, I would go specifically.
That's why I go to the manufacturer's website.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't. Somebody says, "Yeah, try this powder at this weight. This will work good for you." Unless you see that person shoot or you have some firsthand experience with it, I wouldn't go by word of mouth reloading info unless that person really knows what they're talking about.
Now, the only one I did that on was that Elmer Keith load that I used to hunt with this year that I've been messing with for about a year. I really liked it. You even fired some of them out of my my Henry. What was that 2 years ago, Travis?
Yeah.
With the exception of that, and I found it on the website, and they had a lot of Elmer Keith information. With the exception of that, I go with the manufacturer stuff. Tony is bringing up a good point because there's a lot of mad scientists out there that do a lot of
Elmer was trying to make something lighter than what the 44 Magnum turned out to be. So his loads are fairly mild compared to some real hot 44 Magnum loads.
Well, I can tell you this 44 Special Plus P Plus, it kicks like a 44 Magnum out of the rifle, and we're getting 2,200 feet per second. So,
question for you guys. Got a question from the YouTube side. I don't know how to address this one. What is the PPR on reloaded 9mm?
PPR pound. What?
Shooter Industries. Are we talking about like a grain weight or something, or what exactly? Calaver says he would gladly take any free loading gear someone wants to give me. There you go.
I got a question that's maybe a little bit easier to answer. What is the plus P? Like
plus power, more power. So it's going to be loaded hotter than a standard round, and certain calibers can handle that extra pressure without splitting the case. So you've got a plus P and a plus P plus, and it's not in every caliber. So if you see a 38 Special Plus P, it's loaded really hot above your standard accepted, was it SAMI specs or whatever it is. And if you have a handgun that is not rated for that amount of pressure, you could damage the handgun. So if you've got an older 38, don't run plus Ps in it. But if you've got a new one and it says it's rated for plus Ps, or you got a 357 and you pop a 38 Special Plus P in there, you're fine.
I want to point out too that Squib talking about loading a 44 Special Plus P Plus. He's shooting those out of 44 Magnum guns.
Yes, I am.
These are.
And I'm shooting it out of a rifle too, not a handgun. Not that that doesn't necessarily always make a difference. I mean, as far as dealing with recoil, it's not bad at all. But as far as the strength of the metal, like Tony's 44 Magnum revolvers, they're built just as tough as this Henry rifle, and I'm sure you wouldn't have a problem at all putting a 44 Special Plus P Plus in there.
I haven't yet.
So, Squib, question from the YouTube side, or Tony maybe can answer this. Depending on what you guys reload, price per round. What's the best you can do on price per round for reloading 9mm? Say you just want to go 115 grain. What can you get it down to? If let's just say you've got the brass already. What are we looking at? What's your price per round to reload?
Shit, I had this all figured out somewhere.
Yeah, you know what? I never ever really took the time to look at the receipts, crunch the numbers, do all that, because when I look at the cost of my reload equipment, I'd have to divide it by so many thousand rounds for the overall cost. And some of this stuff I paid cash for used, and some of it I've got new. And I do scan all my receipts, or most of them, and keep them in a folder on the computer so I can go back and look at prices. But I never really, and I've had to do analysis like that for what it costs at work.
Yeah.
Here we go. I haven't started. I have 44 Magnums with jacketed bullets, cost 16 cents a round to load, 14 per cast, 10.5 for plated, and 10 cents a round for coated. 9mm, 16 for a jacketed hollow point, 9 cents for plated, 10 cents for coated, and 12.4 for plated hollow points.
You said that was 9mm?
The first group was 44 Magnum, second group was 9mm.
What's the grain weight on those bullets? 115?
115's on my 9s. Okay.
So just as a comparison, a box of Federal brand new brass 9mm 115 grain ammo is 20 cents a round if you buy it at Walmart. $10 a box. I mean, sometimes it's $8.50, sometimes it's $9. So what was your cheapest price on the 9, Tony?
9 cents a round.
So you can cut your costs in half. Granted, you're looking at the cost of the investment of the press, but if you've got everything, once you get into it, you're going to be cutting your ammo costs in half. If you're going to be reloading your own 9mm, okay, just as like a suggestion. So 20 cents per round is kind of the average.
We all get kicked out.
No. A part of that includes the cost of the case too. I figured these up with including the case, and if you're shooting cases you already have bought and shot out, or that's a one-time thing, so they go down from there.
Now, Sketchy Roll's saying that you can get Arms Core 9mm brass for $8.09. That's the thing about the ammo prices. They vary so much. You could be in a state that has extra taxes on ammo. You could be looking at $11 or $12 for a box of 50. Or David, out in your neck of the woods, what's out there? You guys that live out east, what's it run you for a box of 50? You just get Walmart prices, $10 a box for 50 rounds of 9mm, or what?
Yeah, I buy all my ammo from Walmart. I'm not a big fan of shopping over the internet, and I haven't started reloading yet. I've started collecting brass, but I haven't actually started reloading. So there's a Walmart I could walk to in 10 minutes from my house.
Sure.
And they've always got rollback prices, and if 9mm is on sale, then that's what I'll buy this week. If 223 is on sale, that's what I'll buy next week.
Yeah, they've been rolling back on Federal 115 grain 9mm for like $8.64, $8.50 for a box, which for me is about as low as I can get where I live.
Well, I made the mistake a couple weeks ago. I made the mistake. I went in to go. I usually buy the 100-round brass, and it's right around like $15 or something like that.
Yeah.
And then I think they had it for as low as 12. And the guy had a 100-round box of steel for I think it was like $10. And I wasn't paying attention. He was like, "Oh, this is only 10." I was like, "Oh, I'll take it." And I opened it up, and it was steel. But I needed to put some steel through all my 9s anyway to see how they would work.
Yeah.
Another thing I want to add to this now: if you're loading, say 9mm, since how you singled that out, a pound of universal or tight group will load 1,500, and that pound of powder costs you somewhere between $18 and $25, maybe a little bit more than that, depending on where you're at.
I paid as much as $45 for a pound, but around here I don't have as many places that sell reload supplies as you do in your area, Tony. It's kind of, we all have something that's good and something that's lacking in where we live.
What I recommend somebody does is go buy 1,000 rounds of whatever you shoot, if you can afford it, whether it's 389, 40, 45, whatever. Buy that 1,000 rounds, shoot it, enjoy it, keep your brass, and then go buy your bullets, go buy your powder, buy your primers. That'd be an easy way to get into reloading that 1,000 rounds. If you want to know what you're really looking at for a cost, price that ammunition for 1,000 rounds of new manufacturer ammo online, and then go price yourself a bulk purchase of bullets. Figure out how much powder you're going to need, 1,000 rounds of new manufactured brass, 1,000 primers, and then, figure it out and see if it's going to save you any money in the long run. A lot of guys that do the reloading in these chats, they do competitive shooting and they burn through a lot of ammo, and they do practice a lot. So for them, it's more cost effective to keep recycling that brass. So that's one way you could do it, is look at your cost per round on 1,000 rounds new versus what it's going to cost you to go buy everything you need to reload it. Now we're getting away from the whole idea of being able to custom manufacture your own ammo. Okay.
That's kind of like. Go ahead, Tony.
The thing that is the biggest hit in reloading, if you don't have to buy cases, is the cost of the bullet.
Yeah.
There are not that many great deals in bullets that I've ever run across. Unless you're willing to buy 5,000 at a time.
Yeah.
When you buy everything in bulk, you save money. When you buy primers, buy 1,000. When you buy powder, buy 8 pounds. When you buy bullets, buy a bulk pack of 500 or 1,000 if you can. But don't start off with that. I shouldn't say don't. I recommend not starting off with that much of any one thing until you've tried it out. You can buy them in smaller quantities. You can buy a pound of powder. You can buy 100 primers. You can buy 100 bullets. In some cases, some bullets, you can't buy them in bulk packs. You've got to buy them 100 at a time. What I do with my reload stuff, so I really don't notice the cost, is I just add it on. I placed an order to Midway yesterday, and I threw 100 bullets on there. I made sure that they were ones that I can't go get at Bass Pro Shop 15 minutes away, and they were for a good price, and I just added on to the order. So every time I place an order for something else, like I was getting some last minute Christmas gifts, I said, for another $13, I'll throw this on or whatever it is, and I don't notice the cost. That's kind of the Matt Hansen way of. Remember during the ammo shortage, he was saying every payday just pick up a box or two of this or that, and after a while you've got it built up. Now I realize that if you add up the cost of buying a box at a time, you're paying more. But when there's a shortage, that may be the only way you can get it. Well, I do the same thing with my reload supplies. It's not because there's a shortage of stuff. It's just because I don't always have $400, $500, $600 to place a bulk order to Mid-South Shooter Supply and get the stuff in bulk. But that's the best way to do it if you can. So once you get comfortable, order it in bulk.
To put the powder thing into specifics, I can recommend Tight Group. Is that Hogden or IMR?
I think that's Hogden. I think it is. I still don't even have Tight Group. You've been talking about it for years, and I've been wanting to get it and try it out. So
it's I see a lot of people use the Tight Group, and they'll put out this round has this type of powder, this round has this type of powder, this round has the Tight Group. Yeah. And from what I can see in their videos, being completely knowing nothing, the Tight Group looks like you get tighter groups. Actually, like it looks like a lot more accurate round.
Well, Tight Group has believers in that, which I don't so much care. One gunpowder is about as good as the next in a handgun for me. Tight Group, I started using Universal, but I found it to be dirtier than Tight Group, so I went to the Tight Group. If you want a powder that you have a hard time making a mistake with, Trail Boss, but it's expensive to use, probably 70% more than Tight Group. Rifles, I would, if I just had to narrow it down, I would pick a 30-31 and Varget or 40-64. I would have to have two. But
looking at Tight Group does get some stellar ratings and reviews online. Obviously, you'd want to test it yourself, but I'm looking all the way back to 2008. There's been discussions on it, man. It's been some of these websites. These guys have been debating this powder for a decade now.
But just understand that there's not one powder that just does everything and does everything well. And I think that's what people want. I just want to buy one size primer. I just want to buy one powder. I just want to buy one scale, one press, one. You can do that if you're loading one caliber or two calibers or three calibers. You can't really, I shouldn't say you can't. I don't like to just, pigeonhole somebody like that, but you're probably not going to get as good as results if you just limit yourself.
The thing with tight group is it is so stable in the case, it works in about any handgun cartridge. It doesn't care where it's at in the case. So like if it's a little, you pointed the muzzle of the gun down, the powder's run up behind the bullet, it will not do that pre-ignition crap that causes ridiculous pressures. Tight group is not susceptible to that at all.
Yeah.
So that's why it works so well in such a vast number of cartridges.
Start off slow with your equipment. You don't have to have duplicates of everything. I recommend at some point getting duplicates of every piece of equipment you have in case something breaks. When are we doing our reloading? We're doing it on nights, weekends, holidays. We're not necessarily doing it in the middle of the day, or if you live in a place like I do, where there aren't a whole lot of places that sell reload equipment, then it's not like you can go, oh man, I just screwed this up. I'll just run down to the store and get it. But I don't recommend having two of everything right off the get-go. And the same thing with powders. Start off with one or two powders, one or two calibers, and just go from there. And eventually you'll – and I mean, some people don't have as many powders as I do, as many varieties. And other people have got more, or they've got the same amount of variety, but they have everything in 8-pound jugs. And it's something you gradually build up over time. And it takes time, and you put time into it. And sometimes maybe – life gets a little bit busy and you don't go to your reload bench in 6 months. That's fine. It'll all be there. It'll be fine. It'll be totally fine. Just don't leave cartridge or cases full of powder and walk away for 6 months. That's not a good idea. But you get the hang of it, and you get to find out what works for you, and you can network with other reloaders and say, hey man, I want to try another powder on this. What do you use? Or as far as the cost, Tony put a lot of time there into figuring that out. And I've had to do cost analysis for work, so I know how to do it down to the penny, and it's a pain sometimes. I never did it because even though I started off reloading for 8mm, even if I stopped reloading all the cartridges that I'm saving money on by reloading it myself, I have 2 cartridges you cannot buy. I have to reload those. I could get myself down to 1 press and get rid of a bunch of stuff and just reload these 2 if I want to shoot them, only because I cannot buy them. So for me, the advantage is being able to make those 2 cartridges. The fact that I can use all the equipment and the experience to save money on more expensive stuff like 45 ACP or 8mm Mauser, 30-06 Springfield, or 44 Magnum is great. And maybe that's part of the reason why I just haven't done the cost analysis. When I'm at the gun store and I'm looking at boxes of ammo and I look at the price and I'm going, I know I can reload it for less than this. Yeah. And the first thing that pops into my mind is the cost of 100 bullets.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm always doing too, is kind of the standard.
So look at it like this. Let's say you wanted to get some Hornady Frontier 223 and it's running, let's say $8 a box, 20 in a box. 5 boxes is 100 rounds. So 5 times 8 is $40. Or you can buy 100 bullets for $13. And you go, well, what about powder? What about primers? What about it does add up. But like Tony was saying, you get 1,500 rounds out of a pound of powder sometimes. Yeah. Yeah. So it's inconsequential. The first thing I think of is the cost of the bullets. And right then and there, I set the box down and I go, I'll just reload some of my own. And it's not to knock some of the ammo, because I do buy brand new manufacturer ammo all the time. I don't always have time to do reloads. And some of the new stuff, like I've been buying the Hornady Frontier. I haven't even tried it yet. I really want to try it.
It gets mixed reviews, man. I don't know. I haven't purchased it yet. It seems like some people love it or hate it. I don't know what the deal is. It's not a steel case, is it?
No, it's not. It's reloadable. It's reloadable, and they just come out with the 300 blackout, so somebody's getting that in their stocking this year.
Ooh,
so, I mean, hopefully Hornady doesn't really make anything bad, so. But still, I'm just using that as an example because that's the last thing I can remember shopping for. $8 a box, $40 for 100 rounds if you're buying it by the box, or more or less $13 worth of bullets, and a couple bucks worth of powder and primers. So,
okay, coming in on the gun channel side, I want to go back, just take it back real quick, and then we can move on. Dead Horse and Patrick were talking about temperature stability and temperature extremes and how that affects your powder. Dead Horse says the VAR gets great in cold weather. Dead Horse says that some powders can drop 10% or more because of cold weather. Varget drops less than 2%. And then Patrick says the Varget is a temperature independent powder. I use it in my 308 reloads. Dead Horse says it's only an issue really for precision or longer ranges. But it can be an issue nonetheless. And then Patrick says Hogden has a lot of powders that keep the same performance at very cold and hot temperatures. So could we safely recommend your I keep messing up your Hogden powders? Is that and Varget, are those two good brands you guys would recommend?
Varget is made by
Hogden.
Yeah, Hogden is a brand name.
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
Hogden,
okay.
IMR, and Winchester are all the same company.
Okay.
They're all the same. These are, I don't know if they were separate companies at one point and they all came together, or there's just the brand names under the company, but they're all the same. Alliant powder's good. I can't pronounce this. It's something Finnish, Via Vittori or whatever. It sounds like a purse company.
Right.
They make really good powder. Anything from Finland is good. Accurate powder, Ramshot. I mean, it's all Ramshot. I think is Western powder, isn't that, Tony?
Hell, I don't know what it is.
I think Accurate and Ramshot are both made by Western Powder.
Yeah,
I mean, there's no powder brand that I would say don't buy. How's that? It's not the brand; it's what the powder does.
Yeah, yeah, and again, the main thing is make sure it's in your guidebook. Make sure that you know exactly what you're doing. Only buy it if it's in there. Don't go off people's advice. Learn how to do it the right way on your own, and then you're going to be set. So.
Hey, here's something I thought of. Tony, you can answer this one probably because you've been reloading a heck of a lot longer than me. Have you ever seen a recall on powders or primers?
Nope.
Okay.
I've never even heard of one.
Yeah.
To clarify the Hogden thing, they were separate to start with because they offer Winchester 296 and Hogden H110, and even they say it's the same damn thing. You know, they're just the reputation of 296. They wanted to keep that because it has the reputation of being the quote unquote Magnum powder. But it's the same powder as H110.
And again, it doesn't have to be confusing. You know, go to the manual, look at the brand that's recommended. Obviously, you know, you're going to need to educate yourself on how to reload ammunition but when it comes to the powders, you don't have to make it complicated. Start simple, get it, and then you can get into it. Because we hadn't seen anybody go out. Oh, the last thing we forgot to mention, hazmat fees. What are we looking at here, guys?
About $17 on top of your shipping. So if you're going to order, estimate about $37 overall, $20 for shipping and 17 more bucks for hazmat.
Mm-hmm.
So for that $37 extra dollars, what are you getting? Are you getting something that your local doesn't have? Are you getting it in a bulk pack that your local doesn't have, or a bullet weight that your local doesn't have, or a powder type that your local doesn't have, or you don't have a local? And for that $37, how do you justify that extra expense? Well, probably the best way is to buy as much stuff as possible.
Yeah.
Either buy a wide variety or buy a whole lot of it, because it's pretty much like a flat rate at that point.
And that's
so
a lot
whether
of
you buy,
money.
when you buy 100 primers,
Yeah.
whether you buy 100 primers, you're going to pay that 17 extra bucks. Whether you buy 4,000 primers, you're going to pay that 17 extra bucks on top of shipping.
Okay, so it's best just to plan ahead, make your wish list, go hit your local gun store, your local sporting goods store, pick up what you need there instead.
Yeah, when I made that midway order, I was buying ammo, mags, and tumbling media. So there's no hazmat fee on any of that. So I threw 100 bullets on there, not having to pay, because it's lead. They don't care. You can send that through USPS. It's just but if I had ordered primer and powders, I would have definitely bought a whole lot more.
Yeah.
That's, you do way better oftentimes locally, even if it's more pricey, simply because of that hazmat fee. I'm blessed here, man. I got a great reloader supply, really close. So, you know, I will not pay hazmat fees if I can avoid it at all. And
but there's some things. There's some things though that they might not carry though.
This place, you know,
if you search around, you can probably find
it. If they don't carry it, they can get it, and I still don't have to pay the fee.
That's awesome. Hey, real quick, guys, Ghost Tactical's joining us. Ghost, welcome to the show. Hey, man, what do you want to say? What's going on?
What's going on? Hey, no, thanks for having me, man. Appreciate you very much.
All right. So you had a little sweepstakes last night. Who was the winner? What was that all about?
Yeah, we had a Charles Daly shotgun we had a bunch of accessories, a Beach and Tactical sling, some Hunt to Go clean shot bore cleaner, an Allen buttstock thing, a Hoppies bore snake, a mag light flashlight. It was all a bunch of stuff. And yeah, it was great. We had 190 people enter, and the Real Gun Snob won last night.
What was cool was all the people from around the world that participated on it, which is cool. You guys were mentioning all the states and then some of the states that didn't participate, which was like, really? How could you not have one person that hasn't heard about this? I mean, you guys were on Hank Strange's show talking about it. Was Clover over there on Hank's?
Yeah, I was on Hank's on Tuesday. I think he was on Thursday. So it was just one of those things where, but one of them was really weird. I thought Wyoming and Montana were two states we didn't have anybody, and I'm thinking,
well, do they have internet out there?
Well,
they have population out there.
I mean, we just got a telegraph last week, and we're going to be moving the horse troughs out and bringing.
Yeah, we're going to have to use carrier pigeons next time, I guess.
Get smoke signals. CLOVERTAC.
Exactly.
So go ahead. Question for you. Oh, go ahead.
I thought it was funny that I got an email this morning that said, "Congratulations, you're a loser."
Yeah, you got that from Clover, did you?
Yeah, about that. Yeah. I was excited. I was like, oh. All right. Well, it doesn't matter. We all win in the end because it was a good time. So.
Yeah. Well, thanks for you guys for doing it.
Ghost, do you do any reloading at all?
I don't. I'm very ignorant. That's why I'm jumping on, because I've thought about it, and it's one of those things where I'm very ignorant about it, but I'm listening very hard.
Now, Ghost, it also, if you don't, it depends on how many calibers you have and how much shooting you do. Back in the day, I could buy 50 rounds of 9mm for $3.50 a box all day long. No ammo shortages, no nothing. Right. It was impractical for me to invest one penny into reloading. Now you pay between $9 and $20 a box, depending on what you're getting and what that store's price is. And with the reloading setup, you can make personal defense ammo, you could make hunting ammo, you could make match grade ammo. So if you're looking at that box of match grade ammo that's $35 and you could make it for half that price. Oh, why not? But back in the day, ammo was so cheap. It was like, I'm never going to reload. I would give my cases away to people. Now I'm looking back going, oh, man. Oh.
Back
I usually shoot. Oh, go ahead, Don.
Back when I started reloading, it wasn't about cost. It was about the gun's performance. Mm-hmm. And custom tuning loads for the gun.
Yeah.
Which is why I only did it with rifles. I didn't start hand loading for handguns a couple of years ago.
See, my worry is I've heard it's very addicting once you get started. And I've got so many things going on. I don't have the time to have another addictive hobby,
and I totally get that, Ghost, because I have not gotten back into archery because I just don't have time for that, and I'm no longer a car guy anymore because I don't have time for that. So yeah, you've only got so much time for each hobby, and this is something that if you can't put time into it, you're really not going to enjoy it. But I will say this though. If you seal all your containers tight and you just keep everything inside the house or inside of a fairly dry area, this stuff will last forever. So if you ever walk away from it, you can always come back. I'd say take the batteries out of your calipers and your scale so you don't have some sort of acid leak if it's been a long, long time. But otherwise, this stuff, none of it really goes bad. You might get a little bit of surface rust on some dyes or something, but it's marginal.
If you want to learn a little bit about reloading, we have 3 reloading Caliber Corner episodes that I've since made private on my channel here, but I have them uploaded over to guntube.org. You guys can go watch them. There's a 3-part series that we did, and I think we did some more episodes later. I'll probably take those episodes and re-upload them over to like Gunstreamer and UGEtube, but I'm probably going to just delete them from my lineup in YouTube. I still haven't deleted them yet, but part of it is, there have been channels that have been strikes put against them for private videos. So whether your video is live or not, YouTube can still hold that against you in the court of Google. So I will probably be deleting those from my YouTube personal playlist, and I'll just make sure that they're up on other forms of media. So if you want to learn about reloading, we had some great discussions on it. And today was just, where do you start with powder? If you want to get into reloading, let's say you got everything you need, you got your manual, you're ready to get started. You go to the powder aisle, and it's like it's like a maze of numbers and brands and prices, and you don't even know where to start. So hopefully we've got some solid advice out there for you guys on the powder. So
it's intimidating because there's so many numbers and terminology, but it's like anything else that you've never done before. It's a little bit intimidating. Once you jump in and get in there and you make a couple mistakes and you spend some money and you start, you go back and you reread something and you watch some videos, you talk to some friends who reload, you'll start to get the hang of it. And once you go out to the range and you shoot ammunition that you put together yourself, it's you kind of get a little bit of a more of a sense of accomplishment. Yeah. Or if you can't afford to take the whole family shooting because it's going to break the bank, but you can reload and all of you can go to the range together on a Sunday and just have a blast. You got a big smile on your face as the dad or the mom and saying, I did that. I made sure this happened. So it's a long-term rewarding thing, but like what Ghost said, if you can't put time into it, I understand why somebody might not want to get into it because we all have only so much time in our lives.
Yeah, no, I hear you, man.
Add one more thing that I have found reloading, and it's extremely cathartic to me. If you're having a freaking horrible day, to take the time and just go sit down and focus on reloading is so incredibly calming.
Yeah. That's what a lot of people are saying out on the chat on the YouTube side. They're saying, I just go do it, just put some music on and just sit around and just kind of forget about time for a little bit and go do a couple hundred rounds, Yeah, I mean, it can be, and we've mentioned that before, that it's fun and you can just kind of focus on that. And I think it would be, as soon as you take that first batch of reloads to the range and fire them and they work, I would say that experience, the feeling you're going to get from that would be similar to maybe building your first AR. Even if you just built your first lower, it's just kind of like that. Hey, I did that. I made this. This thing works. Really? That can be kind of fun and kind of energizing for you, especially when you get into firearms. If you've been shooting long enough, it kind of can create a new passion for you, which is neat. So yeah, consider getting into reloading. You don't have to spend a lot of money to do it. You can just kind of take your time buying the stuff that you need. And that's kind of what I'm going to focus on. I think I'm going to focus on for me, less guns and more ammo and reloading for 2019. Because I'm looking at a few firearms, but I definitely I've got all this brass sitting around now, and Squib, you hooked me up with basically everything I need short of the scale and the press, and I can make that happen. So we might be having a few more reloading discussions in the future too. So good stuff. All right, so now I need you guys just to take a minute and think. We're going to move on to topic number 2, and I've got a few of these firearms written down for I guess just one person that's not here right now, but it looks like everybody else is still with us that started. If this is another viewer request, if you had $3,000 and you could buy any gun with it, what would you buy? Now, you could buy multiple firearms. They said any gun, but maybe you're not looking for a gun for $3,000. So I was doing some window shopping last night, and it's amazing the stuff that pops up in the $3,000 range. Part of it's like, wow, I'm going to spend $3,000 on that. Couldn't I get by on something, especially when you get into ARs? You start to get into these boutique manufacturers of ARs or some of these custom ARs. And it's like, okay, is this going to do the same thing as my $350 PSA? So if you had $3,000 and you were going to buy yourself a firearm, and feel free to screen share if you want to share this with us in case we don't know what it is, what would you buy and why?
Can I start off with Dead Horse?
Anybody. Dead Horse has recommended something over on the
30 high points.
Wasn't it 15?
No, he said 30 high points.
30 high points at $150 a piece. 10,
yeah,
20, 30. You could probably get a
He's got the hookup.
You could just pass them out to family members, and you get a high point, and you get a high point, and you get to put them in stockings. You're leaving them just put a ribbon like those Lexus commercials. The wife walks outside, and there's a big bow on it. Like the wife walks outside, there's just a bench with a high point, the ribbon sitting on it. She's like, okay, so what 30 high points? Okay, I'd like to try to focus on one if possible, or maybe one gun that's really hopped up. Just to kind of pick your brain. If you had the 3, and maybe you got $3,000 sitting around, and maybe you're going to go buy a $3,000 gun. And for a lot of you, it's just going to be a no-brainer. You know exactly what you want. So you need a minute. I get it. Tony, we're gonna be running some of this stuff through the panel now. So Tony, what would you buy if you had $3,000 to buy a firearm? He's thinking. Tony, you still with us? I don't know. Okay, so Tony, we will come back to you. I know you said you had some internet issues. Squib, what about you? I'm going to do a screen share. I'm going to try my best to not end this podcast early. Squib, what'd you say, man? What do you want? Is anybody else still there?
Looks like he's muted.
I don't know. I'm starting to get worried. I thought maybe I deleted you guys again.
Oh, we're still live.
Okay, so Jim, Sandhills, are you with us?
Nope.
Thank God. All right, so Sandhills, what would you buy if you had $3,000 and you could go buy yourself a gun? This always happens when we got to run stuff through the panel. I've got a picture of it on standby. What would you get, brother?
We were talking about this before we went live. It's not $3,000, so I guess I'll have a lot of money left over for ammo. But I'm going to buy that Beretta M9A3.
Why not buy a set of them, one for you and one for the missus? Nothing says I love you more than an M9A3.
Are we supposed to limit this to one gun, or
it doesn't have to be? You can.
I mean, I
could your $3,000. I found one that's $29.95. Man, you can do whatever you want, bro.
I could get other stuff, but I mean, that's probably going to be one of the first things I'm going to buy.
So now the big question is, you can't say it's because I have the money. Why do you want this gun? What is it about this gun that's something that makes it a desirable piece for you?
I don't know. I mean, it's just cool.
Yeah,
it just looks pretty BA.
It is neat having something that's as close to something that the military uses as possible in your own hands without having to wait for it to, say, turn into a surplus gun.
And that one's got, I mean, it's got already got the threaded barrel. It's got, you know, that straight mainspring housing that I think fits my smaller hands a little better.
Yeah, yeah.
And I mean, I've played with those, you know, in the stores before, and the action is just slicked up and tuned a little bit better than your average M9 or Model 92.
Does it come with two different grips? Does it come like a one-piece grip or a two-piece?
It's got a whole wraparound that gives it that classic Beretta hump profile.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I mean, my hands aren't small, but they're not big. I'm a solid extra medium, and I don't know. That one just fits really well. It feels great.
Okay. And would you buy it in that little shooter pack that comes with the ammo box and the what is it? What all comes? You get like a ammo. What's that?
That's just how it comes.
Oh, okay.
That's how they're packaged.
They all come like that? I thought that was maybe
in that ammo can. Yep, with the extra grip and 2 spare mags.
And you're paying about a $350 premium over the price of just a 92 FS or whatnot. But I think it'd be money well spent, especially when it's just cool. It's just cool. And I've always had a lot of fun shooting Berettas. They're very smooth shooting firearms. They're great.
So if I had to throw one other gun in there with extra money left over, probably going to be a 460 Smith & Wesson mag.
Okay. Now, what do those run? Are those about $1,500-$1,200, or are they more than that? $1,000?
Yeah, $1,000 to $1,200, kind of depends.
Okay, cool.
I haven't looked in a while. They may be coming down, but
that's a tasty pick, I will add.
And I want the 460 because not only is it great for hunting, but if I want to, you know, put light loads in it, I can just get a box of 454s.
Yeah, this is true. And no, honestly, I'm going to be honest with you. I swear to God, when I shot the Ruger Alaskan, that 454 had less shock that I felt through my hands than 44 Magnums that I had fired before. Granted, those were short barrel revolvers and they were just torture to fire. They were awful, but the 454 was not bad.
It was funny because I was reading in Guns and Ammo or some magazine when that 460 first got developed, and I don't know if it was Dave Emery over at Hornady or which guy it was that developed it, but somebody was asking about, you know, if people are going to want to shoot something that's that punishing, and of course the 500 was already out, but he laughed and he said, well, if anybody wants to tame it down, they can always shoot 454 Casull in it. Which
that's it. No, if the gun weighs enough and you've got a comfortable enough grip on it, it's not that bad to shoot. I was really surprised. Now, granted, I only did 25 rounds of 454 in that range test, but
ever since I read that sentence that, you know, this gun, you can light load it with 454s, I'm like, yeah, that's the one for me. And if you really want to make it a powder puff, you put 45 Colt.
There you go. Now, moon clips with that then, or what? Oh, no, 45 Colt. My bad. I'm sorry.
Somebody who said that. Right. Thank you.
Tony, back to you. Now that you're with us, Tony, what would you buy if you had $3,000 to spend on a gun or guns? What would you get?
There's two. A Winchester 94-22.
Okay.
And a Winchester 73.
Okay. Why would you get those guns?
The 94-22 is the only gun I've ever had in my life that I regret to this day selling. And then the 73, just old Western movies.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, okay.
It's a nostalgia thing. I mean, I don't want the gun to actually go shoot it. I just want it to have it.
There you go. Oh man. Oh, Dead Horse over on the gun channel side over there, dude. Yeah, that was one that I was looking at too. That is very cool, man. I like those POF.
Well, what
rifles.
is it? Don't keep us in.
He is saying the POF P308 Edge. The POF ARs are just awesome. 12.5-inch barrel piston driven 308 with an E2 extraction, ambi controls, and a receiver set tighter than Jen at Reno. Oh my God. Yeah,
that's not a good mental image.
I just got ready to lose my breakfast. All right.
If I had a couple of $100 left, I'd buy a cheap ass coach gun.
Oh yeah, get yourself like a Rossi or a EAA or something, or what?
Even old used.
There you go. Yeah. That's cool, man. All right. So Squib, are you back with us?
Yeah, I had to step away. So $3,000, one gun, easy pick. The Henry repeating arms, 1860 Henry and 4440 Winchester centerfire.
Nice.
Yeah, it's about that takes about your $300 or $3,000. What are those? About $1,500?
No, they're in the $2,000 to $3,000 range.
Ow, God.
Yeah, they're handmade, hand fitted, all American parts. Yeah. And as far as a replica, it's about as close to an original as you can get, because some of the Henrys that were chambered in 44 Henry were later rechambered in 4440. So this is about as accurate as you can get. And I don't know if the parts are 100% interchangeable, but I'd say I bet you some of that is, because Henry repeating arms really goes to that extra degree for the accuracy, the historical accuracy on that. And I know that not all reproductions are. Is it practical to mass produce it? But they're making these by hand. That's part of the reason they're so expensive. So or hand fitted.
Big part of the reason of the cost of them, as it was the original Henry, because it was expensive when it was new, is that barrel and magazine are cut out of one piece of metal. It's not got a separate magazine on it.
And since I reload, 4440 is, absolutely in the realm of, it would happen. And it would be black powder as well. I'm set up for black powder cartridge. So I would, if I had any money left over, I'd spend it on equipment to cast my own lead bullets to give it even more historical accuracy. Although you can buy lead, I would go to Buffalo Arms probably for lead bullets for that.
Move Jiggles out there saying 4440 for the win, and with some smiley faces and kissy faces. So that must be a good choice.
4440 for the Winchester centerfire.
There you go. For the Winchester centerfire. Yep.
To add a little caveat to the reloading powder chat earlier.
Yeah.
The casting of bullets is a good way to save some money. And it's pretty substantial, because if you look around, you can get lead for nothing or very near nothing. But the reloading is cathartic. Casting bullets, I freaking hate it. I won't do that ever again.
Oh, come on. You don't like to smelt lead?
Something. I hated doing it. Back in the day, I was casting round balls for muzzleloaders. Like,
okay.
This sucks.
Real quick, I don't want to deviate from where we're going with this, but there's a question out on the YouTube side. Any thoughts on the Chiappa Alaskan takedown? It's basically a lever action that you can just take apart into two pieces, kind of like the Ruger takedown rifles and stuff. Any thoughts on that at all, guys? Would you ever consider something like that? It's been out for a while. The 1892 lever action Alaskan takedown rifle.
I don't know what it is, so.
Okay, well, let me bring it up on screen share here real quick. So this is what we're looking at here, guys.
No, never.
No, never consider that.
Nope, it's supposed to be blued and wood.
Well, okay, let's just say you can get it that way, Tony. I mean, is there any compromises with the two-piece setup on something like this, or? I mean, the thing is, they're doing the stainless because it's Alaska, and they're talking about all-weather resistance to the elements and so on. Rust won't be in it. Matte chrome is what they're looking at.
What people don't realize is stainless steel doesn't mean rust-proof.
No,
stainless steel can still rust.
But they call it an all-weather finish. I mean, you're thinking that's what you're going to be able to do with it. But finish aside, would you guys ever buy a takedown lever action?
Octagon
barrel's kind of nice, you know. I guess it depends on what you want to do with it. But 357,
maybe.
Winchester 94-22 is kind of a takedown. Or some of them are.
All right.
But I never used it like that. I mean, you actually have to pull a screw out of it to take it apart.
Oh, okay. This one you might just push a button. I haven't watched any videos on it. It looks like Hickok 45 did a video on it 3 years ago, so it's been out for a while, if not longer.
My Browning may do the same thing as the 94-22 also. I don't know. I don't give a shit about taking it apart.
Yeah.
So right. I wouldn't buy one because I don't like the looks of the thing, to be honest with you.
Hey, moving down the line here, Night Strike. So Sandhills, we got yours. We got that Beretta. Night Strike, what would you buy if you had $3,000 and you could buy a fire? What would you invest in?
Just I can get multiples, right?
You want to, sure. Or if you want to get one really fancy one, and
okay.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll just throw a couple out there. I'd buy an M1A.
Okay.
I'd buy an M1 Garand, and if I had enough money, I'd probably get a Browning high power.
Okay. Yeah,
and then the rest is on ammo if I have any left.
You get an M14 or M1A Precision for a little under $3.
Yeah,
I could go with you on the Grand and the high power. I don't know about the other one. I'm not picturing that in my
I was thinking the base M1A. That way I'd have enough money left over to get ammo and magazines.
Okay. I love the SOCOM edition. That thing is cool. I mean,
I love the SOCOM edition too. It's just I don't think I can't justify the price point.
Well, we're just going to pretend you got the money. You know, would you get one if you could?
Yeah.
There, you know, you say that until you actually handle one and shoot one, and they are sweet. As much as I am not a big fan of supporting Springfield, if you want an M1, either buy one used or, you know, we don't need to get
true. But if I get an M1, I want one that looks like as much like the M14 as possible without the selector.
No, I got you. Okay, so John Z, this is a big one, man. If you could get to a free state and you had $3,000 burning a hole in your pocket, John Z, what would you buy? We had a discussion about this, I think, before we started or after we started. What would you do?
Come on, man.
Yeah, I definitely think the 50 BMG would be a little out of my interest, but if I did have a choice, I would go either a Henry lever in 357 or 44, or model 40X TDR. That's a Remington 40X.
Okay.
It's a military style.
MD, the TDR tactical. Okay.
It comes in 6.5 Creedmoor.
Yeah, let's do a screen share.
416 stainless. 24-inch barrel, and it could shoot up to 0.50-inch maximum 3-shot groups at 100 yards.
The tactical deployment rifle, that's what you'd go for, the Remington? Okay.
Correct.
What are the different calibers you can get this in?
Believe you can go 6.5, you can go 270, you can Winchester, Win Mag. It comes in a whole crap load of them.
Okay. Like that Picatinny rail up on the top, that's a nice muzzle brake.
Yeah.
Definitely $31.95 MSRP. You could easily get it under $3. I'm sure it's probably like what, 2,800, something like that.
Well, yeah, that's what I was thinking, and then I can use the rest of it for ammo.
Of course. Oh, you're going to need it too.
I want to watch the guy that goes from one of those without a muzzle brake on it from 6.5 to 270.
Well, good luck with that.
Well, I don't understand though. What do you mean? You mean just because of the noise, or what are we talking about here?
The recoil. People, think of a 27 caliber as being lighter than some of the 30 stuff. 270 is one of the harder kicking guns I've ever shot.
And Tony, maybe I'm wrong, but 270 and 6.5 are very similar in many ways. I mean, it's a what?
That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, they're going to feel about the same.
The 270 is on a case built on the 30-06, so it's a longer case.
Yeah.
Well, he was only asking. Travis was only asking what other calibers does it come in. I was just saying I would take the 6.5.
Yeah.
I just want to see the guy that goes from that gun with 6.5 and then goes right to a 1 and 270. The look on his face of the difference in the way the guns react.
I can go with the brand new models of the 700, the custom design series that they have for only 1,200 and everything, and the rest all ammo. That'd be awesome too.
Oh heck yeah, man! So you need to start putting your money back. So as soon as you get out, that's gonna be the first thing you're gonna get yourself. So you're all set to go, man.
Fingers crossed.
There you go.
Just on a side note,
yeah.
Unfortunately, and fortunately, these days I can't justify spending the money on a Remington. Everybody else's cheap stuff has gotten so good.
And there are a lot of good precision 6.5 rifles that are out there from $250 up to $3,000. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff out there. I'm kind of curious about the quality of that Remington, if that's a different line that it goes down, if there's a little bit more that goes into it than some of the lower price Remington rifles. I wonder if it's going to be that quality you're expecting for that price. You know, if it's almost like their custom line that they do.
A lot of their new stuff, they have regular included things like fluted barrels or custom triggers, adjustable triggers and stuff like that.
Right. And if you're looking at buying a rifle, check Travis's channel to see if he's, reviewed one from Stan's collection.
Quite a few.
I'm going to be taking out the Mossberg Patriot today. I'm going to take it out and zero it and shoot. I'm not taking cameras. I just want to go and shoot and not film. Once I get it dialed in the way I want it, then we'll bring the cameras back out to the range. But yeah, I mean, and that's chambered in 6.5 also. It's a cool round.
I just say that, Travis, it looks like you've literally reviewed everything.
Why not?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm having a great time, dude. I absolutely love it. It's so much fun. No, I have not done a lot of bolt action rifles though. Maybe a dozen tops. Over the last 4 years. So I've done more. Just I guess I have a little bit of everything: revolvers, semis, and so on. But I did take a Christensen Arms, Jonesy. I did take a Christensen Arms. If you don't know if you've seen that yet, 6.5 out and shot that. That thing was amazing.
I remember.
That's a good one. I just got done filming a Ruger Precision rifle last weekend in 6.5.
How much is that Christensen?
2,000. I could be wrong. You can look it up.
Could leave me some money left over for ammo too.
Oh yeah. They make some really, and that thing is just awesome. And that was the one that the owner of Vestas Pond, Stan, him loaned me to take out. That's his deer gun.
So have you decided about the 6.5 for yourself now?
And again, I'm not trying to. I'm buying it, and again, it's not. I brought it up the other day in one of the chats, and then people started making all these hipster comments and stuff, and you're jumping on it, and this and that. I'm not claiming it's the be it all end it all of rounds. I bought it because it delivers more energy at the same distance as .308. The rounds are relatively inexpensive. I find it to be a very accurate round, and I can get into a rifle chambered in it for the same price as .243, .270, .06, .308. And I just want to try something different. And I like the idea that I can get out there and tag 1,400 yards. And I know you could probably do it with 30-06. You could probably do it with whatever. But I can do that with the right optics and not have to break the bank on a rifle. That's what I like about 6.5.
Like Tony mentioned earlier, you're not going to get the butt kicking compared to the 30-06.
Well, I'm only going to be taking one shot on a deer, so I don't have to worry about it.
30-06 don't kick.
I just want to point out that almost all the new rifles out there today will shoot better than the guys that are carrying.
Oh yeah. I'm lucky to pull off a 1-inch group with my eyes and the conditions I shoot, and I'm lucky if I can get a 1-inch group on any rifle I test. They're so much more precise. I mean, I would think you're going to see a difference if you use a premium ammo. I think that's going to make more of a difference for you. But practicing with the rifle, holding it steady. I mean, I'm using a lead sled, and I still have the barrel wavering a little bit because of the wind and the conditions. So those rifles always shoot better than me. I'm just say that right now.
One other thing about that 6.5 is that, and I haven't ever used one, shot one. I don't have any experience, but I've read a lot of articles, and it seems like it doesn't matter what the rifle is or what the load is. They all get along and they're all accurate, which is crazy for a caliber that there's that many combinations of rifles and ammo that are still accurate.
Well, a lot of it has to do with your barrel too, the type of rifling in it. If it's a cold hammer forged barrel, obviously a lot of it has to do with the trigger. And most of these have adjustable triggers too. I paid $349 for my Mossberg Patriot with an optic, and I've actually taken it off. I put a more powerful optic on the top of it for today for zeroing and testing it. And that's
Did
what
you
I'm
take off
using
the
Ego.
sticker yet?
Yeah, I already did. Yeah, that comes right off. Yeah.
I was just meaning though that no matter what rifle I'm reading a review on, if they're shooting it in 6.5, it's like they'll shoot 6 or 10 loads or something for accuracy testing, and every one of those things is pushing MOA or sub MOA. It's just crazy.
I bought 2 boxes of Remington Core Locked, and that's what I'm going to test it with because that's going to be my hunting round when I come out.
Yeah, I mean, even the factory hunting loads are doing well with that caliber. It's just apparently it's just a good shooter.
Well, no, it's an incredibly aerodynamic round. It's so stable and so fast it almost beats the law of physics and gravity. Yeah, it's always having an effect on it, but it's such a fast round. Over here on the YouTube side, Bullseye Shooting is saying the best bolt action rifle is a Tikka T3X A1 and 6.5. And that's the thing. I got into this. I wanted to get into 6.5 on the cheap because if I really like it, then I'll spend the money on a more premium rifle. If I think this is a round that I want to shoot, if I shoot it well, if I like it, I'm keeping my brass now. If I want to get into reloading, then I will expand and buy something a little bit nicer. I was thinking about going with the Howa, which would have been about an extra almost $200. And I probably should have got the Howa, but I thought, okay, if I like this, then I'll turn around and buy the Howa next year, And
that's the reason I didn't mention the names like Howa and Tikka, because those are higher premium rifles.
Well, they're not.
I thought I was going Remington and spending.
Yeah.
You
can get a Howa. You can get a Howa 6.5 with a scope. They call it like the Game King package for $450 without, just from like buds. I mean, it would have been about $100 more for me to go the Howa route, but. When I looked at just features and stuff, and I really did like the trigger on the Patriot, which is adjustable between like 2 and 6 pounds or 7 pounds. I just thought, no, let's just try it. Let's just see how it runs, But anyway, we still haven't got through everybody's favorite $3,000 gun. Nicer, did you ever tell us what it was that you wanted? You did,
yes,
didn't you?
Did.
You did. John, you said you wanted any kind of a 50 BMG.
No, I was just messing around with that.
Because we can get you to an Armalite for $2,500.
If Tony can find me that under that price range in that shop he was mentioning, I'll go for that too.
They're readily available online. $2,500 for an Armalite, 50 BMG without an optic, of course. Bolt action rifle. So there you go.
Is there any?
John, did you have another?
That's okay, Travis. We'll put an Aegis optic on it. It'll be fine.
Is there any other kind of 50 BMG outside of a bolt action?
Well, semi-auto.
I don't want semi-auto. You got to have bolt action.
Yeah, well, the bolt actions are cheaper than the semi-autos. I'm just saying you can get into 50 BMG for less than $3,000.
Yeah, if you're gonna go with that caliber, you might as well go with the bolt action for at least trying to go out long distances.
Yeah.
For 50 BMG, the recoil spring on a semi-auto is going to be like from Ford.
Oh, so it's not going to be good?
No, it's going to be massive and expensive.
I have fired a 50 BMG bolt action Armalite, and I'm not going to kid. That thing is such a heavy gun. The concussion is what catches you off guard. It's not the recoil felt like a 0.6 or a 12 gauge slug. It was not like a shoulder breaking experience, and I fired it 5 times. And it was the concussion. You kind of like lose consciousness for 1 second every time you pull the trigger if you're not accustomed to it, because it feels like you're being punched in the face. It's kind of exciting, actually. And then 1 second later, you're ding, because you peg that buffalo silhouette at 800 yards or 1,000 yards.
Can you hear it if you're unconscious?
That's the one I shot did have a break on it. There was a picture. I did a range video last year when they did there was a veterans organization in town that was doing a fundraiser at the range, and I filmed people shooting the 50. I fired it at a Hornady range day at that same range 2 years ago, but I wasn't filming it. I wasn't really making range videos back then. But you can see the same rifle that I fired. The guy takes it there. It's $5 a round. And if you buy 5, you get to keep the brass from one of the rounds. And he's not really making much of anything from it because he has to have the gun sent in, and has to have the barrel, has to have the headspace reset on it. So many hundreds of rounds that you put through it. So anyway, yeah, no, it's an awesome experience. It's exhilarating, man. It's fun. It's definitely worth the price of admission. So.
I would just guess people would rather go not go the semi-auto route because of you're trying to go for accuracy with that gun. You're not carrying that gun on a 20-mile walk.
Well, the semi-auto doesn't really. I mean, the semi-auto is more of your combat applications. I would imagine you might have to put 2 to 3 rounds, rounds down quickly, get back on target quickly. You might be dealing with some sort of an active shooter in a combat situation or a target you need to eliminate quickly.
I would figure the bolt action would be steadier for that.
Well, having to take off and recycle it versus just staying on target the whole time, letting the gun reset itself and not having to move. I don't know. I don't really know much about the combat application of 50 BMG, but that's one of those times where I get most of my education from that off movies, which I probably shouldn't do. But
yeah, don't do that. Don't do that.
You just have to think of the name of the round, BMG. That's Browning machine gun.
Exactly.
Well, if you can get it from me fully auto, I wouldn't turn it down.
Let's see, what is this? Ozzy Osbourne sent Travis P11 your address. What's going on today? Today's my birthday. A $3,000 gun would be great. Would be a great present, just saying. So Ozzy Osbourne. Well, we could start doing some super. We could do some super chats now. Maybe we could raise $3,000 for you, Ozzy, and we could ship something your way.
You want to do what we did last time for Night Strike?
You better raise 6,000 because they're going to take half of it.
Yeah, that's right. Let's just go through Patreon instead. I don't know if that's less.
You ain't getting no money, Mike. Forget it.
All right, we got to move on. So, Jim, what is your choice for the "If I Had $3,000"? That sounds like a song, isn't it? If I had $3,000.
Yeah. Well, before I go there, I'd just like to point out Dead Horse's running commentary about what Night Strike and John Z would buy.
Oh, really? Well, I'm trying to catch.
Dead Horse is always running commentary. What's the point?
What are you talking about now? What's going on here?
He's saying that Night Strike would buy a Salient Glock 19.
Oh yeah.
Which wouldn't be bad for a boutique handgun.
John Z would buy a gold-plated tech.
Right. And Dead Horse is also the type of person that would open carry a Sky CPX2.
Patrick said
what did he say I would carry? A gold-plated Kel-Tech?
Tech 9.
Oh, okay.
Let's start calling you Ice Cube. Patrick said I'd get 2 1875 Army Outlaws, 7.5-inch barrels, 357 mag. Henry Big Boy, 44 mag, holsters and ammo for $3,000. I believe Tony and Squibb and Patrick, but not Night Strike and John Z.
And then I found
Outlaws, you can only get those babies in 45. Sorry.
Then I found a nice gold-plated AK for John Z.
There you go. Is that the Saddam Hussein edition, or is that the more?
No, that's a real one from a guy in Austin.
Hey, there you go.
Is it gold-plated and diamond-studded at the same time?
It goes with your studded jeans. It goes with your blinged-out wallet. It goes with your flashy lifestyle, John. There you go.
I'm talking.
I'll screen share and show you the.
Hey, John, Thug Life, bro.
This is what John Z would. This is what John Z would be.
Don't fall for the bedazzled ones.
Is that the ad for sale or what? Are those Red Bull patches on that vest? What am I looking at?
This is gold-plated Yugo.
That's a
and you're gonna buy it from a guy that looks like that? I don't know if that's really good.
No, this ain't for sale.
He looks like a Russian crime boss with that tracksuit on.
This is his. This is just his shtick on Instagram. You'll never see him. You'll never see him without a ski mask.
Is that a real magazine?
Yep.
Jesus
Christ. God. Is that the Rainbow Bridge magazine? What?
Yeah.
Good God, man. Oh, that's amazing.
I want to clarify my statement on the Outlaw. The reason I know that you can only get it in 45 is because I desperately looked for a year and a half for 44.
Did they ever make it in 44?
No.
Okay. Well, maybe get some custom work done. I don't know.
Well, no, you're not going to get that in the $3,000 range.
No, you won't. All right, we're going to give him the bird. Desert Gary, what's your 3,000? Or no, Jim, did you give us your choice then? Was that your choice?
Something along these lines. This is only so expensive because it's kind of unobtainium, but
sure.
Something like that. I've been on an AK kick, so.
I know I've been looking at all those different Polish ones they've been bringing in on Classic and over on Atlantic Firearms.
Yeah.
The Polish builds that they have and stuff. It's 0545. There you go. AK 74, right?
Yep. This is the Molot, so it's a little unobtainium and but it's a tough rifle. Either that or one of the if I was really just going to spend all 3,000, I'd go with let's find the boutique build. I would go something like this.
The Volk.
The Volk.
Okay, so what chassis is that based on? What are we looking at here?
It's a Sharps Brothers milled chassis.
Oh my God!
or receiver, and obviously you can. This one's like tunable for suppressors and.
Sure. How much is the price on that? I can't tell because it's a little.
This is $27.80.
There you go.
As configured.
Yep. There you go, man. That's the way to do it. So nice. All right. So Gizzard Gary, it's Christmas. What do you want? $3,000 burning a hole in your pocket. What are you gonna buy?
You buying?
Oh, I didn't say that.
I don't know. I've thought about it. There's a couple things I've had my eye on, like a Ruger.
Gary, can you get a little bit closer to your mic, buddy?
Stainless.
Hey, Gary, your mic's a little bit quiet. Can you get closer to the mic? I'm trying to turn up your volume. Bud.
Me.
Here you go, sir. Thank you. Good to go.
A couple things I've been looking at, like a Ruger SR 1911 in stainless.
Okay.
Maybe finally jump into the AR. You know, get in there and get me something. Not spend a whole lot of money because I got to save a little bit of money to come up and see Travis P11 and go shooting with him. So
right on, bro.
Let's go with that.
There you go. That works. And then bring it with you. Or you can put it on
the guy.
You got to have a place to try it out. You bet.
Heck yeah, I got a place to try it out. Yeah.
All right.
One of the guys at my concealed carry class had that Ruger 1911, and I got to tell you, that was a gorgeous freaking gun. I was impressed. Not enough impressed to buy one, but
they're really not that much money. I think they're in the $700 range.
$800. Yeah. I go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's all I was going to say.
Okay.
So it wouldn't take all the $3,000. Wouldn't even take half of it to buy that. So.
Well, you have yourself enough left over. Get yourself a good quality AR and some ammo. You're ready to go.
A bunch of ammo, come see you and go out and have some steaks and shoot some.
You know it, man. Heck yeah. Go get some prime rib, bro.
That's right.
Give him the bird.
Give him the bird.
All right. Ghost, moving on to you. $3,000, buddy. What would you buy?
Man, it's a toss-up. I'm going to give you two of them. They're not both of them, but two of different ones. It'd probably be either a CZ 550 HET chambered in 338 Lapua or the H&K MP5.
Yes.
I'd probably have to go the MP5 on it. I'd probably go the MP5 if I had to make that decision.
Were they about 2,300? Are they more than that, 25?
They're about 25, 26, somewhere in there. So, but yeah, I probably had to go the MP5 if I had to do the choice.
Yeah. Cool. And David, last but not least, you had $3,000 burn a hole in your pocket. What are you going to buy for a gun?
Well, Foose has got this one special rifle that he wanted to sell me, but we can't talk about that right now. Just kidding, Travis.
I understand.
No, I go with the Ruger Precision 338 Lapua.
Oh yeah.
And my list of, like Tony was saying earlier, my collectibles, that list is way too long. Like stuff I wouldn't shoot, I just have for collecting. So that list is just way too long. So I'd definitely go with that. And if that was an option, then if I could afford it for $3,000, I'd go with Wheelchair Warriors icon picture, the wheelchair that he sat in, and he sits in his emoji picture. I don't know if you guys know who he is, but that probably costs way more than $3,000, but it may make a nice down payment anyway.
Right on, man. So I'm looking at your Ruger Precision right now, and if you want that in 338 Lapua, $2,099. It leaves you plenty of money for an optic, and that's MSRP. You're going to get it a couple hundred below that.
Hey, for that $1,000, you could probably get 2 or 3 rounds of ammo.
Well, yeah, that's what I say. With the 338, you're going to have to spend the rest on ammo or my reloading stuff.
Finishes too. They make some really neat finishes on that Ruger Precision, man. It's a cool rifle. Like I said, I had a blast shooting at 6.5. It's a lot of fun. It's a heavy beast, but man, it's just awesome. Good choice, man. For me, I'll go ahead and do a little screen share here, and again, I'll try not to. Let's see, Squib. Did we ever get you? Did you ever get a chance to say yours, or not? I think he did. I think he did.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So for me, I would go with. I'm a big fan of these guys right now, and I can never afford one, but I really like Christensen Arms. For me, I would go with the CA10 overpriced AR-15. But man, this thing is just awesome. I love the carbon fiber handguards on it. Not exactly, a combat choice, but you got carbon fiber barrel. This is going to come in at the low price of $29.95 out the door. There you go. I'm sorry, $29.99. So I got 1 set left over. So I'm going to have to go through my ashtray and get my pennies counted and order off a set of knockoff Magpul Emba sights, so I have something I can use on it for $5. But Christensen arm guns are just cool. I mean, they're very expensive, but they're like the sports cars of the firearms world. I mean, they're expensive, but for guys that have the money, I mean, they're definitely a lot of fun to have, and they're fun to shoot. I fired the bolt action before in 6.5, and I really enjoyed it. So for me, that would be my choice. So that leaves me 1 penny. So if you guys want to send me some ammo, I'd really appreciate that. That was just in 5.56. They make one called.
That looked like an AR-10 actually.
I think that was that the 5.56 or not? I guess I'm already out of it now.
That was a 308, I thought.
Was it? Because I was looking at I was trying to get into the CA10 DMR, and was that the one I was looking at? Yeah, and they were a little over 3, so maybe it is a 308. I can't remember.
Those AR-10s, you can get them up to 3,000 easy.
Oh, is that? Okay, CA10 AR-15. It says CR10 AR-15. So that is. Yeah, you're right about that. That is a 308. Okay, my bad. And I can get that in 6.5 also if I wanted to.
Yeah, that's an AR-10.
Okay, it is an AR-10. I didn't think I could get into one for that price. So, all right, I just saw the AR-15 and thought that was it. Yeah, because they make a CA-15. That's the AR-15. That's right. My bad. So yeah, that was
still a nice rifle.
Yeah. Oh yeah, their fit and finish is amazing on their rifles. They're awesome. Very, very good stuff. All right. So anybody else want to contribute to the $3,000 gun debate before we move on? Anything else anybody want to say?
Night Strike's not around any longer, but Patrick's saying he would get a Taurus AR.
Oh my God. Yeah, the TA4, T4A, whatever they call it. I don't even know if those things are in production anymore. I've seen some popping up for sale. They're like a $900 AR. And the funny thing is, when it first came out, I remember we were in some
15 when it first came out.
I don't know if that was the MSRP. I think it was supposed to be $900 or $999 or something like that, and they were selling for $850. You can buy a rifle nearly identical off PSA, same rated twist, same barrel length, same handguard, virtually identical for about $200 to $300 less. So yeah, I mean, I think they just came in thinking they were going to sell a tactical. I mean, not even. It's just kind of dressed up with some of the accessories. It wasn't like the gun had anything exclusive. It wasn't piston driven. It didn't have any fancy features on it, and they were asking, $300-$400 above the competition. I would just go cold or SIG if I'm going to go that route.
Their original MSRP was $11.99.
Was?
Yeah. I thought it was really high.
Oh, I can't even remember. Yeah, because I think
now did the Taurus AR come out after the Saint?
Yes.
I would say they might have been.
But it never
Springfield makes a bad business decision, and Taurus goes, "Hey, let's do that too."
The T4SA. Let me just go ahead and bring this up on screen share here, just so you guys can see what I'm talking about.
I think before it ever went out to retail.
No, they were. I saw them for sale on Gunbroker. They were for sale for a while there. They were like $600 or $700.
Hey, Gary, you think they got just the plain stripped lower for sale for like $500?
They probably just unloaded some of their parts. I don't know.
There's nothing really about it that's exclusive. It doesn't have a monolithic upper. Yeah, it came in Cerakote, but then so does everything else. It's got a pretty good sized rail on it, but I mean, whether it's carbine length or mid length, standard Magpul furniture, there's really nothing. They were talking about how many rounds they put through their test model, and they got this little aquarium full of brass that they put through that rifle without cleaning it.
Well, they started gearing up for this before the AR market went down to where everything was so cheap. So by the time they got it out to market, they had it priced so high they couldn't possibly compete because they jumped in way too late.
Now, here's the thing, though. If they save all the tooling and they save all the production data and everything they need to go ahead and put it in their machinery and run it, if there is a run on ARs again, because some politician starts going, we're going to take everything. And I mean, everybody's, got tight sphincters again. They might be able to jump back in the market. But sometimes these guys who make these poor business decisions, like having an overpriced AR, also are the ones that go, just scrap the tooling.
Yeah.
Well, Taurus is having enough problem keeping up with their handguns as far as production and warranty repair and stuff like that. They don't need another headache.
Yep. So Sandhill Shooter just chimed in here real quick. He said that who would like to change his mind on one. He said he'd rather go with the 460 lever gun from Bighorn Armory in Cody, Wyoming. Which they're around $2,800 for one of those. Right, they start low and then you can rack up all the options on them. So actually, no person that has one of those and claims that it's just awesome. I know a guy that's got one in 500 Smith & Wesson. And I've been talking to him, and I might be able to set up some sort of a range test on it also. And again, that's another small manufacturer. We got to meet them out at SHOT Show. And they basically custom build your lever gun for you however you want it. They offer all these different options. You can basically option out like a car. You can take that $2,500 base price and take it up to $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 if you want to, with all the options and all the features and everything they do on it. So again, that's another option for you too. So that's what Sandals had to say. So. All right, now we're going to go ahead and shift over to the final part of the show where everybody gets tacos and French fries. So let me go get it. I'm just kidding. So what it was is tacos and French fries left about 4 questions on my 10,000 subscriber giveaway video. 4 questions that he would like us to answer. So we can just run these through the panel, make it quick and easy, and we'll get tacos and French fries, the answers that he wants. I call that everyone gets tacos and French fries because everyone here is going to get questions from tacos and French fries. Now, if you guys want to come here to Nebraska, I will make you tacos and French fries, or we'll go out and go get tacos and French fries. In fact, I've never actually reviewed tacos and French fries. I think I need to do that, but that's a different video at a different time. So
can we get fries at Runza?
Of course.
Okay.
And we'll go to the local mom and pop places. We'll get real tacos, carne asada tacos. Because remember, the only thing worse than no Mexican food is fake Mexican food. So, all right, David, we're going to start off with you. Question number 1. I guess we'll just do the question. We'll run each question individually through the panel. So David, what is your favorite gun and why?
The favorite gun in my collection, not counting the 2 Henrys I just got because I haven't, I just got them. I probably just have to go pretty plain and say my Ruger AR-15.
There you go.
It was my first rifle, and I put a couple thousand rounds through it already, and never had a problem with it. It still looks really cool. It might be kind of a plain, boring answer, but my favorite firearm in my collection so far is my AR-15.
Okay, and then I'm going to ask you question number 2. What are you stocking up on now? Are you looking at buying more guns or ammo? What are you stocking up? What are you going to be stocking up for in 2019?
Well, I'm going to have to do ammo mainly because 2018 I got a lot of different firearms, and frequently I would go to the range and fire all my stuff away, no matter how much, whether it was 150 rounds, 200 rounds, 300 rounds, whatever we took with us that day, and then come home and have no ammo. And then it's great to have a firearm, but if you don't have the ammo to go with it, then it's just a big odd-looking rock that you can throw at somebody.
And I mean, Tony, you were saying how cheap ammo was back in the day. For me now, ammo is about as cheap as I've seen it, especially when you can still buy in bulk. A lot of us can still get away with not having to pay sales tax with online ammo orders and stuff like that, if you can in the state you live in. It's now is the time to be buying ammo. I know that NEA Matt always talks about that, and it's true. I mean, whether you're ordering in bulk or you're getting into a buyer's club for ammo or just even your local Walmart, I mean, it's amazing how cheap ammo. I mean, it's completely affordable. There's no reason to not pick up a box every time you go buy groceries and so on. So, all right. Okay. All right. Good answers there, David. Appreciate it, man. All right. So, Ghost, what is your favorite gun and why?
Probably no surprise here, but the Beretta M9/92. And why? It was it's what got me into handguns. A lot of people talk bad about it, but when you are a 19-year-old kid and you get a chance to shoot something you never shot before, and then you fall in love with handguns because of a gun, that's probably definitely why.
Cool. And then what are you stocking up on right now? You going to be looking more for the gun side or more for the ammo side in 2019?
Probably ammo, because I'm going to be doing quite a bit of training in 2019, so I'll need all the ammo I can get.
Get a couple of those Lake City barrels full of 5.56.
Right. Yeah.
Bring the pallet in. There you go.
Exactly.
All right, cool, man. Nice. All right. So Gizzard Gary, what is your favorite gun and why? And what are you stocking up on right now?
Sorry about that.
That's right, man. You're giving them the bird. Busy giving them the bird.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a tough question. I love all my guns for various, different reasons. But when I've been asked this question in the past, I always say my 1911. And if for no other reason, then every time I pick that up, I think about my dad and him being in World War II and stuff like that. And it just kind of gives me a warm feeling. So
yeah,
it's nostalgia for me.
Yeah. Stocking up on anything, Gary?
Ammo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a whole ammo can practically full of 22 long rifles, so I need to stop buying that and start concentrating on some other stuff.
Gary, were you that guy that was at Walmart every morning at 4:30 buying it every time those poor gals were stocking the shelves? Were you one of those 5 farmers that are standing there buying the 5 bricks?
I waited till more of it was on the shelf and it started coming down.
Okay.
But yeah, I've got plenty of that, and I've probably got 200 or 300 rounds of 9mm around here. But some of my other calibers, like 45, I don't have that much of, and 38 special. I mean, I could always use some more ammo. So
yeah.
200 or 300 rounds of 9mm. Are you kidding? I got about 4,000.
Now, let's not get into a pissing contest over who's got more ammo.
Couldn't tell you how many buckets of 22 ammo I got, but it's like 16,000 rounds.
Tony's overcompensating.
You got me beat, but that's not hard.
You don't think so, do you?
I'm not overcompensating. I was out there trying to buy it when it was scarce, and I'm like, when that goes away, I ain't ever going to be in that friggin' situation again.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
Why I said that's what I need to stock up on.
There you go. So everybody can just go ahead and send gift cards to Giz or Gary for Cabela's and Walmart. We'll get him stocked up for the holiday season.
That works for me.
Right on, man.
Every one of them.
I know someone who says there's never enough.
There you go. All right. Okay, so Jim, moving on to you. What is your favorite gun and why?
Let's see if I can disappoint Dead Horse, and of course this is like picking your favorite kid in a way. So offering that disclaimer, I'm going to go with my Wasser right now. I've just been having too much fun with that thing lately.
Is it like a Wasser 10 GP or what? Because I'm thinking about, I'm really interested in picking one up, but there's a couple different Wassers that are out there that you can buy. They're all, it's the Cougar is it Cougar?
Yeah, it's Cougar
manufacturing.
Cougar.
Now, is that the one that gets the best quote unquote grades at the range?
There are definitely more popular, at least among AK enthusiasts. That's considered a solid entry level AK nowadays. You could go with arsenals and make the internet happy, or you could go boutique and go Rifle Dynamics and but yeah, it's hard to go wrong with it. It's a standard AKM layout. You can customize it the way you want. You can get different furniture for it. It's got the side rail, so you go RS regulate and mount a nice optic on it.
Did you have any candid sights issues? Because I was reading some reviews on them. A lot of people bitch about candid sights. Did you have any problems on yours at all?
Nope. That's kind of.
Just kind of understood it's probably going to have some sort of canting to it.
No, not so much anymore. When they were bringing them in as parts kits and rebuilding them, I think it was when that was a bigger thing. Now that they're bringing them in and opening up the magwell and complying with 922R, that was those they're pretty solid. I mean, you can still get an AK with candid sights every now and then, but mine was pretty true.
Okay. I want to answer. I need to answer a question real quick on the YouTube side. Mad Sexy, you can get 100 grain 5.56 from Extreme Shock. They make ammunition for it. Apparently, they make that bullet. But anyway, so now again with the Wasser, then how long have you had it? You've had it for a couple of years.
I've had it for a couple of years.
Never had any hiccups with it. Run steel case, no issues at all. I mean, obviously,
I've never had a failure to do anything.
So my recommendation to people, again, there's a lot of these entry-level AK companies that have sprung up over the last. There's like Blackheart Defense and Riley Defense. There's Defense this, Defense that, for like the $540 range. Sad to say, the AMD 63 supply, I think, is more or less dried up, or you're not seeing them anywhere, or they're being bought up by other companies and being resold. I would say for the money, spend that $650 and get yourself a Wasser. instead of 550 on some of these unknowns or some of these new companies coming in. Because, you know, a lot of times, like I said, you know, they'll market it, oh, it's a Polish receiver or a Polish design, whatever. You know, it might have some good lineage, but is it made to mil spec for Poland? Is it made, you know? So I would just say spend the money and get a washer if you want to go with an entry level AK. Obviously, I'd say stay away from a RAS 47 or C39 V2. I had a RAS 47, you know, after I saw the headspace things popping up and how bad that firearm basically destroys itself as you shoot it. I decided to get away from the RAS line altogether. I even had a second gen model that had the hardened trunnion and bolt carrier group and all that, but they're still cast in the end, you know. And I know with the Wassers and a lot of these higher end ones are going to be going forged, so that's the way to go. So Jim, what are you stocking up on there? Are you looking at some guns for 2019 or ammo? What's going to be your thing?
Right now, I'm in an ammo mode, but there might be a gun. There might be a gun for 2019. I'm going to try to get away from the gun of the quarter thing.
Yeah,
I'll probably make the wife happy.
I'm looking at it between 2016 and 2017. I bought 12 guns between 2017 and 2018, and we're almost done. I've only bought 5. Of course, I've spent, you know, over $1,000 on ammo, getting 1,000 rounds of this, 1,000 rounds of that. But with it being so cheap, that's just the priority. You know, it's a tough decision. Do I want this handgun or do I want, you know, 2,000 rounds of ammo?
Yeah, I've been taking advantage of Christmas sales and free shipping as we speak.
Heck yeah, man. That's the way to do it, because otherwise shipping on a case of ammo is usually $30, $25-$30. So, all right, man. Cool. All right, so John Z, what is your favorite gun and why? And what are you stocking up on now, John Z?
Gold-plated Mac 90.
Check 9. John Z, what do you got?
Stocking up on plastic knives.
Yeah, there we go. I would say the Block 19 is probably his favorite gun. So John, if you're with us, you want to chime in on this? He might be away from the computer. So John Z does have a Block 19. It is a what do you say? It's a 1911. It was a 1911 casting or something. Is that what the idea was behind it? We gave it to him at Wanamaker. There's videos on it too. You can find it out there on YouTube. And he's probably just stocking up on happy thoughts and getting out of his state, I'm guessing. I don't know. What do you guys think?
He tried to give me that thing down there in Wanamaker, and I'm like, okay. And then I made sure that I left without taking it.
Was it somebody gave him a holster so he could conceal carry it? That was great, man. It was basically a fast piece of iron that looked like a gun, but it was an L-shaped piece of steel. What's that?
Did he name it Barry the Block?
I think so.
That's awesome.
Yep, the Block 19. All right, so we'll move on. John Z, if you come back, man, we'll get you back to you on that. Squibby, what about you? What is your favorite gun and why?
Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. There you go. The M1 Grand action going on there.
I let my M1 Grand do the talking. And I understand he's John Garand, but I've always called it a Garand. So when I refer to the inventor, it's John Garand. But when I talk about the rifle, it's a Garand.
There you go.
That's my compromise.
I'm with you on that one, Squib.
It's always been a Garand. Everybody I've known in all the decades of researching firearms, talking about firearms, shooting firearms, being involved in two-way stuff, it's Garand. And it was only, I think, recently with the internet's changed a lot. The information that's shared, and people unearth all kinds of documentation or video files, Ian did that video there on Forgotten Weapons, where he's actually, somebody asked him, how do you pronounce his name? And he wrote a letter saying, this is how you pronounce my name. So that's good enough for me.
Yeah, it's definitely.
But I love this rifle.
Okay, so what are you stocking up on now? Ammo, firearms, reloading supplies? What's your
2019 will probably be stocking up on AR components, because I've got a bunch of incomplete stuff, and reload supplies. Yeah.
Nice. All right. Okay, Tony, moving on to you. What is your favorite gun and why? And what are you stocking up on right now?
That is a tough call. There's so many good ones.
Well, you gotta pick your favorite child, Tony. What's it gonna be?
Probably the 1895 Marlin in 4570.
Okay.
Because it was kind of a surprise. I didn't think I would get it, and it turned out to be much more than I expected. So
awesome. Cool, man. And stocking up this year, Tony? What are you stocking up on? You gonna just pick up a little more ammo, more reloading supplies? What are you gonna stock up on? Any plans?
Probably
more guns.
Probably bullets more than anything, because I've got a lot of powder, a lot of primers, but bullets, not so many.
Yeah. All right. Cool. And that leaves me. Honestly, out of all the firearms I have in my collection, my absolute favorite is the Ruger American Ranch Cherubin 762 by 39, mainly because it allows me to become proficient with the high power bolt action rifle without breaking the bank. The fact that it was designed to run steel case ammo, and I love the CZ 527. That's a bucket list gun of mine, but that was also a couple $100 more. You can run your mini 14 magazines in it. You can have a 20-round box mag, a 10-round or 20-round magazine, 10-round magazine, or a 5. It's accurate. It's got a cold hammer forged barrel. The trigger's adjustable. It's got the Picatinny rail up on top. They run a little bit more than, say, like a Mossberg Patriot. They're about $400 if you pick one up. It's got the threaded barrel. Put a can on there if I want to. And it's just a nice all-around just utility rifle, inexpensive to shoot. I can buy better ammo for it if I want to. I do have Hornady, I don't know, whatever it is, the SST hunting ammo that they make for that with the steel case. It's only 50 rounds for $25. So it's an inexpensive hunting rifle to shoot too once you get that ammo. I'd say it's effective probably 250 yards, 275 on a deer. And that's mine. It's just been an awesome rifle. It's been great. It's been reliable. It's accurate. That's my favorite overall. So that's probably what I would go for. Second would probably be my Bear Creek Arsenal AR-15, which I know a lot of people roll their eyes, but I bought it at a time. It came out I bought it shortly after Sandy Hook, or a year or two after Sandy Hook, when AR prices were still a little bit high before they started to drop off. And I ended up getting it, I think, for like $399 or $449, which at the time was one of the best AR-15 prices out there you could get. So, and as for me stocking up, oh boy, I think I'm pretty much done buying guns for a couple months. There's some ammo I need to get. I need to start getting 6.5 ammo because I got the Mossberg. I can't even, cameras are off, so whatever. This gun there, right? 6.5 Creedmoor. I need to start. My arrows are opposite when I put my hands up on the camera. 6.5 Creedmoor is what I'm going to stock up on. So that's going to be the big one.
Buy damn press and
I know.
Reload.
I know. Okay, the press. Okay, the press is something that's going to be a priority. I want to get a couple decent scopes and a press, and then just 6.5 ammo because I'm pretty good on everything else. So that's going to be it for me, man. Yo.
With the weather being cold, a lot of reloaders reload in the winter, shoot in the summer. So I don't know if it's at all financially feasible for you to jump in like that. But if you wait till the summer, you may buy it and it may stead again until after Christmas, which is fine too. Like I said, the stuff isn't going to, it's not perishable. So, but if you're trapped indoors because of the weather, as soon as that weather breaks, you want to get out to the range. So if you make up your ammo in the winter and then shoot it in the summer, that's a pretty typical cycle for reloaders.
Sure. Yeah, I did. The reloading bench is definitely going to be just the reloading press, and it's going to be a priority. That and the scale, and then work on some other stuff. I would also like to pick up a new camera for filming, something that allows an external mic, because I deal with so much wind. It really is a constant battle every time I go to the range, and a decent camera is really not as expensive as it used to be. So, so for me, that's something I need to do for the channel too. Okay, now a question to run through the panel again: Is open carry legal in your state? Do you open carry? Why? Why not? David, this one's on you.
Looking for the mute button. Sorry about that.
Oh, it's all good, man. Open carry legal in your state. Do you open carry? Why or why not?
No, and no. Open carry is not legal in Maryland, and getting a concealed carry permit in Maryland is just about impossible. So I do not carry, and that's why, because Maryland doesn't like guns and doesn't like freedom. So good luck getting a carry permit in our state. And as far as everybody else, when you come through Maryland, your permit doesn't count. So when you cross the border into Maryland and you're carrying, that's not legal.
I think they gave Rick a permit.
What's that?
I think they gave Rick a permit.
Not Maryland.
I'm pretty sure.
You may be right, but he probably had to go through a whole lot to get it, because getting a residential carry permit in Maryland is, like I said, just about impossible. So a non-residence permit is, you might catch lightning in a bottle.
If I remember it, I'll ask him on his show this afternoon.
Okay, cool. I'll probably be over there too.
So, David, have you ever thought about just trying? Just fill out the paperwork and pay the fee and try and see what happens?
No, because the reason, and that's not a defeatist attitude, it's a realist attitude.
No, I just want to know. Yeah.
You have to take all your training courses. You have to do all the prior stuff before you can even apply.
Okay.
So once you've paid all the money and taken all the time to do all that, and then you apply and they tell you no, you just wasted all your money.
I understand. Okay.
And if anybody else that might be in the chat listening, if you're in Maryland and you go into a gun store and they tell you they guarantee that they'll get you a carry permit, they're lying to you. There's a few stores around where I live at that have given people that I know rock solid guarantees, and they all get denied.
Okay.
David, the thing is, people who don't live where you live can't appreciate the position you're in until they actually live it. You can tell them all they want, but it's different when somebody lives that. I was talking to one of my YouTube buddies who's not on gun channels, Finger Lakes Prepper. He lives in New York. And I was telling him, dude, just go out of state, cross the state line, buy ammo, and bring it back. And he was saying, no, they actually have undercover cops at some of these gun stores right on the other side of the border that will follow you and they'll pull you over. And now, I'm not saying that that's a tinfoil hat kind of thing, but living in a free state, surrounded by free states, I would have never thought about that sort of thing, because we were talking about what's going on here in Wayne County, Michigan, with them wanting to put the mental health background check, and how other states have got some states have got restrictions on ammo or firearms or whatever. And I was just saying, I'll go to Ohio. I don't care. And that's when he told me about that. And he said, you don't get it. You don't live here. You don't deal with what I deal with. And when he said it like that, it made me think about you and some other people. And you guys can explain to, on as many videos as you want, but living it is a whole different experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like I said, it's not a defeatist attitude. I do everything. I vote, and, I attend whatever rally that I can get to and do all these kind of things. It's just here in Maryland, we're outnumbered. We can, every time I vote for somebody, they get beat by a lot of other votes. So it's not like I'm just giving up. You still fight, but I know when I go into the fight, I'm going to lose. There's just not enough support to not lose. And then actually, Digital Prophet, he's from Maryland too. He's in the chat right now. And he said that you can apply for your permit before you take the classes to see if you get approved or not.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Cool. All right, so Ghost, what about you? Is open carry legal in your state? Do you open carry? Why not?
Maybe is the answer. Is it legal? It has not been legal, but there was a court ruling back in a few years ago that opened the door to interpretation for open carry in Arkansas. And this past January, our governor directed the state police, which then would direct other people, not to harass or anyone who's open carrying unless they feel there is intent to harm. So that's kind of opened up a gray area where a lot of people do open carry and no one's doing anything about it. So I guess in a backwoods way, it is kind of legal now. It is not illegal. It is legal now. There's no law on the books to say open carry, but the interpretation from the Attorney General and the governor says it is. So that's good. I open carry one day a week, one day a year, a month. Sorry, every second matters. But I don't like open carrying.
Yeah.
I like concealed carry. That's what I've always done. But I think the open carry sometimes is good for discussion. And when I do open carry, I'll carry my Glock and I'll have a Kydex holster outside the waist that's got a big Marine Corps logo on it. And it draws a lot of attention. So at least it starts a conversation. But just for carrying, no, I like the concealed carry.
Okay. Gizzard Gary, what about you? Do you open carry? Why not? Is it legal in your state?
Open carry is legal in my state. Actually, we had open carry before we ever had concealed carry.
Okay.
So as far as law goes, it's not a problem. Do I? Very rarely. On every Second Matters Day, I will. Mm-hmm. But other than that, I'm kind of like Ghost. I don't really feel real comfortable carrying that way.
Okay.
I'd rather have it, under my belt line or whatever, or in a pocket. Surprise if you run into me and you do something bad to me, but otherwise, I'm not going to advertise the fact that, hey, I'm carrying a gun.
Okay.
That's just me. I don't say everybody has to be that way, but that's kind of the way I feel about it.
And you're in Kansas, and you guys have constitutional carry, just so people know,
Yeah, our laws are rather lax compared to most states. I mean, we can carry a loaded shotgun in our car, Doesn't have to be hidden or any of that. We can stick a gun in the on the seat. We can put it in a glove box. It can be concealed, not concealed. Pretty much free to do whatever you want to do here.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Jim, what about you? Is open carry legal in Texas? Do you open carry? Why not?
It is legal, although we kind of did it backwards. We were late to the game with concealed carry, and we were late to the game with open carry. Do I do it? Very rarely. I've done it at a couple of rallies. I'll certainly do it on my shooting range. Yeah, a little bit for I think I've done it once or twice on Every Second Matters, but my preference is to conceal.
Okay. For Texas, what are the rules and laws then? Do you have to have a open carry permit, or you can open carry a rifle but not a pistol? Is that what the deal is, or what's?
You can open carry a rifle without a permit, obviously subject to private property restrictions and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They kind of changed the rules about that on the state capitol grounds. The pistols, it's licensed to carry, whether open or concealed. It used to be called a concealed license, a concealed carry license, and now it's just a license to carry. Same set of rules. They have all of this legal signage that people can put up on their private property if they don't want you to conceal or open carry or both. You've heard 30-06 and 30-7 for Texas.
They put huge signs. When I was down in Texas, all the glass doors, there's these giant stickers they put up that have, if you do this, this is what will happen to you. I'm glad they make it clear, but a lot of times you walk up, it's like, really, seriously? Yeah.
Yeah. For anybody can see someone open carrying on their property and ask them to stop or to conceal it or to leave. And by law, you're supposed to. It's a trespass ordinance more than it is concealed carry law. But to serve notice properly upon entrance, you have to have the sign at the entrance in 1 inch block lettering. And there's the very prescriptive in the law how you're supposed to go about delivering that message. I've told places that, I went into a Denny's once that had it behind the counter where you check out or where the host is. And I called them later and said, you guys are free to put that sign up, but you really need to stick it at the door because that's the way the law works. And it's a whole lot better for someone who might be open carrying to walk in and walk into an awkward situation. Oh, there's a sign.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Okay. John Z, you back with us?
Yeah,
There you go,
I
man.
apologize. I didn't catch the
No,
last question.
it's all good. Oh, we answered it for you. Your favorite gun and why? We said it was the Block 19.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Your favorite gun. You might have some Nerf guns floating around the house, maybe some airsofts, right?
Are you nuts?
What?
Trying to get
Ooh.
me locked up?
You can't. Oh, you don't have a 338 Nerf Pua sitting on the mantle?
No, you can't have airsoft.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, the Nerf Pua is just it's a generic. It's a knockoff of Nerf guns. It's a bolt action.
I know.
Yeah. All right. So can you open carry where you live? Why?
Okay.
Why not?
To the matter at hand. This is for New York state law. This includes Long Island, Westchester, every place else except for New York City. Permit to purchase rifles or shotguns. You do not need a permit. Registration of firearms? Not yet. Licensing of owners? No. And permit to carry for rifles and shotguns? Absolutely not, except in New York City, which it does not apply because all of these permits and licensing are restricted and limited. Handguns, you need all of them in New York State. They do apply. Again, in New York City, none of them apply.
Okay.
So no, you cannot open carry. You basically 95% of the population will never ever be able to get a carry in New York City, let alone in New York State. And yeah, so basically what David said.
I would love to see you open carry the Block 19 one time. That'd be hilarious.
I carried it open carry on me the whole time we were in Bill's car.
2A Tuesday, baby. 2A Tuesday.
Yeah. I don't know if it was Tuesday when we went
or
home.
not Tuesday. I'm sorry. Every second matters. Every second matters. Yeah. Not 2A Tuesday.
Yeah.
Celebrate the 2A, John. Celebrate the 2A.
Trying to get the shot. Thanks.
All right. No problem, man. Okay, so Squib, what about you, man? Is open carry legal in your state? Do you open carry? Why? Why not?
Open carry is legal in my state and to our neighbors to the south. The first time I open carried in Michigan was 1995. Walked right down the street in the subdivision and didn't have a problem. I like open carry over concealed carry. I have concealed carried before. I let my concealed pistol license expire, but I was in one of the first groups to get a concealed pistol license in Michigan when they made it shall issue pretty much across the state, because in the past, before they had the CPL, the concealed pistol license, they had the CCW, and they were mostly only giving it to business owners and retired cops. So I jumped on that when it became available for the general public. But I prefer open carry to conceal carry, but I'm not opposed to either or. And I know there's arguments for both, and I get it. And for some people, they're just uncomfortable, and that's fine. You know, if you want to see me open carry, go to my channel, and there's videos of me walking the dog open carrying, because it's not really that big of a deal. I've stopped and talked to the neighbors, and they see this, sidearm on my hip. They don't even bat an eye. Yeah. It's nice living in a place that's pro-gun. I will say this, though, based on the way the elections went last time, we've got a lot more anti-gun voters now that we didn't have before. And my concerns are that my state will turn into one of the states that's a lot more restrictive.
Yeah. So it's a possibility, man. Enjoy while you can, I guess. We've got to get out there and fight it. All right. Tony, what about you, man? Is open carry legal in your state? Do you open carry? Why? Why not?
Open carry is not legal in Illinois. However, I, like Ghost, open carry on the second, sort of. Now, I will strap my gun inside of my belt, but outside, and our law says concealed or partially concealed, so I'm kind of stirring the pot maybe on that one.
Mm-hmm.
But I really don't go anywhere on the second, maybe the gas station or a little convenience store, something like that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Illinois is one of the states that's freaking ignorant about it, but we do have a good concealed carry law.
Okay.
As far as they go, I mean, it's shall issue. Like you said, they make provisions for accidentally showing the gun. by wording it as partially concealed, but I don't know that there's been any cases where somebody's doing what I do, and you actually have the butt of the gun sticking out. Well, the gun's partially concealed, but so if I disappear from gun channels for 3 to 5,
let's hope not, man. Oh man, all right, and then finally back on me now for Nebraska. Oh, look out! Ammo Cat's jumping up on top of the tower. For Nebraska, you can open carry if you're of legal age, rifle, whatever, long gun, handgun, whatever you want to do. Obviously, there's locations and places where you can't. It's going to be limited to private businesses that don't allow it, schools, hospitals, government buildings, post offices, and so on. Do I open carry? I do when I go to the range because it's more convenient to already have my gun on my hip when I'm heading out there instead of trying to mess with the belt and fiddle with it. Plus, many times it's cold when it's outside, and I hate to have to get all that off to put my firearm on. That's if I'm going to be like maybe range testing something, or if I just want to take the Glock 17 with me, or the SD9 VE, if I want to have it on a nice big outside holster for just comfort, for range use all day, whatever, it's there. Otherwise, I have my concealed carry license, and I do conceal carry my Ruger EC9S. And I do conceal that most of the time when I'm at the range. That's what you can usually see me printing in my videos because I've just got a t-shirt on. But for the most part, yeah, I do conceal carry as much as I can. A few times that I've open carried and been out in public, it's never been a problem. You do run into somebody once in a while open carrying in the town that I live in, and it doesn't shock anybody. I mean, it's just somebody probably would assume that you're part of law enforcement if you do that, because we do have plainclothes officers and things like that. So I mean, you could here in this rural area. I don't think anybody would really care unless you go into a place where there might be a population of people that just aren't acclimated to it. But never really heard of any problems. Some store owners do open carry. Yeah, so for me, and I guess I do when I take the dog out like late at night or early in the morning, I will just throw the holster on with that instead of having to tuck the concealed carry holster back in, especially if I'm already getting ready to go to sleep or something. I do occasionally, but I've got a coat over it. But it would not be a problem. I can legally do so too. So, but I prefer just to use the concealed carry permit. Just less issues, less problems. Just mainly with people's reactions and things like that. So maybe possibly something with law enforcement. I usually go like in a 4 o'clock position. So okay, yeah.
Is your open carry license required, or just constitutional open carry?
Yeah, you could say that. You just have to be able to legally possess and own a firearm, and you don't have to have any kind of a permit or a license or anything like that. So no.
Yeah, we've been pushing for permitless carry in Texas for years, and it's tough going.
Yeah.
Just a little side tip. I cannot see the reason anybody would want to carry a long gun openly in their day-to-day activities.
When you're at a 2A rally, your long gun, people can see that before they can see your sidearm. But I like the fact that the very first time I opened carry, I walked down the street in a subdivision with the SKS over my shoulder. Okay, bayonet, 30-round semi-detachable magazine. No big deal. It's not that you really see a whole lot of people walking around with long guns, but having that option, not distinguishing between a long gun and a handgun for the purposes of open carry, I think is a great thing. I know some people out there don't like the idea of people open carrying long guns at a 2A rally because we look so militant. The first time I went to a 2A rally, there were guys there with body armor. They had knives. They had all the gear They were carrying the mags, the load vests, camo up. I mean, just the whole 9 yards. Rifles slung, and the evil, scary black rifles. And I thought, oh, this isn't going to go well. Get to talk to them. They're regular people, just like you and me. They've been doing this longer, so they know what they can get away with and state police are standing right there. They don't even bat an eye. Nobody did anything violent, and I after that was all it took for me to go, you know what? No, we need to be out there seen so people can see that this is a regular day-to-day thing. You may not realize it, but your neighbor who's an accountant, he may, be a 2A guy. You just don't know. And you see that there's 100 of us standing there with more firepower than the state police post across the street from the Capitol building, and we're not doing anything. As a matter of fact, that's probably the safest place in Michigan at that particular moment. Same thing down in Columbus. there were hundreds of people there with more firepower. And they had a lot of cops down there, but the cops weren't intimidated and they weren't messing with anybody. And it had to have been the safest place in Ohio that day. And we're normal, average, everyday people. And if we don't get seen as normal, average, everyday people, then we're constantly going to be villains, because that's what the media portrays us to be. And we're not villains at all.
Now I want to clarify something. When I said about the day-to-day thing, I meant the pain in the ass that it is to have to deal with a long gun slung over your shoulder while you're going through your day.
Yeah, that might be a little inconvenient for some careers, huh?
I get that, Tony, because when I had my concealed pistol license, I didn't carry every day. Part of the reason was some of the places I went to, I wasn't allowed to carry, like inside the school or at work, or whatever. The other thing was, it was kind of a pain in the butt strapping that thing on every day. And I know some people go, no, it isn't. No, it isn't. Well, yeah, if you get used to it. I held out on getting a smartphone for the longest time because I like the little small flip phone. So what am I going to do with this smartphone? At a certain point, I was carrying 2 smartphones, couldn't live without it. I waited to get my EDC knife, not because I'm against knives. It's just, even though I've used a Leatherman before, I really just didn't have a need for it. Now I can't get by without it. Everybody was, I understand everybody. There were people pushing me to get an EDC flashlight, and I'm like, why? I've got a flashlight on my phone. And then I got a flashlight as a gift, and started using it at work, and found out it's so much brighter than my phone and so much more useful for work. Now I don't like going without EDC flashlight. If I had got into the habit of carrying that gun concealed every single day, it'd probably feel weird. I can tell you that there were times after I got out of the military, it was kind of weird not having a holster on my hip. So if you get used to it, then you get used to it. But if you go to a lot of places where you cannot open or conceal carry, it becomes kind of a hassle, more so than just the weight and trying to get it positioned just right. And am I printing and all the other stuff?
Imagine going grocery shopping with your M1 Garand.
That would be kind of interesting.
I suppose.
Come on, Squid,
I could get somebody to shoot some video.
Make a video.
If I could get somebody to shoot some video, maybe I will go to the local store.
The thing is, that's the kind of thing that ticks off a lot of people, because then the cops show up and the guy's smarting off to them, and it just, are they just doing it to get views? Or are they just doing it to get some sort of a shock out of the police officers? I don't know. I hate watching video. I know we have the right, but I hate watching videos like that because it gives responsible gun owners a good name. It drives me nuts.
When it comes to firearms, any publicity is not good publicity. Like with much other things, where any publicity can be used for good, but the optics that are given out by those guys who want to argue with the freaking cops and shit like that doesn't reflect well.
Yeah.
At all.
And stuff like that ends up on the morning news and the nightly news, and we got to try to explain, that's just a bad apple on the tree. That's not how everybody is. And
that's why
back to battle,
Coming from living in Maryland with all the restrictions we have, you talk to some people and they just want to, stick their tongue out to all the rules, and I'll do what I want. I think me not carrying my gun around because I'm not allowed to, me locking my guns up and putting them in the trunk of the car when I transport them to the range, and doing everything that 15 million laws in Maryland say I have to do, makes me better represent the community than the guy who says, you're not going to tell me what to do. Well, okay, that's fine. Now you're in jail and your gun is in the police impound.
Yeah.
I agree with you on that, because if nothing else, it shows the people outside of the gun community the stupid fucking hassles that you have to go through to be able to have and use a gun legally.
Yeah, I'm not advocating that somebody break the law to prove a point. I've seen those videos too. As a matter of fact, there's one I saw that was in Sterling Heights, Michigan on 15 Mile Road. I used to live a mile from there. It was on 14 Mile, just on the other side of where they were shooting the footage. And they spliced in the police scanner audio of all these people driving down, and 15 miles pretty busy, driving down, calling the cops from their cell phone, going, oh my goodness, they're standing on the street with these rifles and shotguns or whatever. And the police show up and they're like, all right, can you just show us some ID? And They didn't draw guns on him. They didn't anything. They just, what are you doing here? I have the legal right to be here. I don't have to show you ID, blah, blah, blah. The law says this, the law says, and they were getting lippy with the cops. How about instead they let the cops take the guns, run the serial numbers, make sure they clear them, let them show them some ID, have them run everything, make sure they're all good and everything, and then cooperate, shake hands, and walk away, and have that on video instead of mouthing off to the cops. Now, the video did end with somebody making a phone call and to dispatch, and dispatch says, ma'am, we know, we've been out there. They have a legal right to be there. It is not against the law in this state. So I did like it ending with that. But the rest of that video, I did not like, because they were purposely trying to pick a fight with the cops.
Yeah.
And those of us on the panel here, we do our best to obey the laws and when we know them, and we do the best to be good stewards to the community. So if somebody was thinking about making a video like that, I think showing cooperation, how hard is it to show them your ID? And I don't want to get into the whole you don't need ID to vote argument. Ugh. But I mean, how hard is it to just comply? Think about it like this. What if that cop was Sarge? Would you mouth off to him? Would you try to, disobey, threaten, anything? No, you wouldn't. If it was Sarge, you wouldn't. You would absolutely comply because he's just doing his job.
There's two sides to that, though. You where you live, you may not legally be obligated to comply. So you see that as infringing on your rights that they ask to see ID when there's no. Well, I take that back. They may be able to legally ask to see ID, but they can't. The way I feel is you shouldn't have to. You should be able to walk freely as you please if the state law says you can open carry with the rifle. People need to understand your constitutional rights. Now, on the other end, the police are obligated to see what's going on because there are people calling in reporting something that could be a possible crime. So on the other end, the police could cite you for disturbing the peace for practicing your constitutional right. I mean, it's just like if you and I are out playing catch at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, we're making lots of noise. We got every right to be out in the street and play catch or whatever. And people have a right to call the police if we're making a lot of noise, and the cops have a right to cite us, even though we have every right to be out there in the street. So part of me is like, okay, but then at what point does the tyranny escalate where you are required to show the ID? You are required to turn your firearm over. You are required to comply. And the police state, which legally doesn't have any justification for that kind of treatment.
And I get that. I don't want a police state either. What I'm saying is if we want to be good stewards, let's do stuff like show them ID, let them run the serial numbers on the gun. I mean, obviously, this is all on video. Video of us, not video of us going, you're right, I do want a new law that says I have to do this and I have to. No, we don't want those laws. No. But when you're purposely trying to pick a fight and get it on, and then put it on YouTube, that bothers me because there would be better ways. And just, but on the other end, there are the cool cop videos that are on YouTube where the cop says, hey, just want to give you a heads up. You have every right to open carry in this state. See, you got an AR. Great. Just want to let you know that, we do, if we have to come back here again because somebody is calling in because it's going to be considered, it's using our resources. It could be considered some sort of a disturbance. We will cite you. We don't want to. You have a right. But what you do, if that causes a reaction from people, we do have a legal recourse for you, And we're not law enforcement. We can't control what that officer does. If he's a rookie and doesn't know, if he's anti-gun, or if he's just, I'm going to take out my revenge on getting bullied in high school on the world by being the biggest jerk cop, we can't control that. Yeah. But, going to jail doesn't help. So I'm not saying that I want to see anything changed for the worse for us, but I am just saying that we can't control what that person does, but we can control what we do. And just trying to be cooperative and being a good ambassador, I think, is a good thing. But I get what you're saying. I don't want to see the tyranny because that's the whole reason we have a Second Amendment.
How about this? Organize more rallies, get permission to open carry at public events, announce it to the world what you're doing, invite people to the rally, have a cookout, have an open carry cookout, start to create a culture where open carry is accepted in the environment that you're in, where it's not a shock factor anymore, where people won't freak out if they see you walking around with a gun on your hip, if you're allowed to do that in the area that you live. I think that stuff like invite law enforcement, have a community cookout, say, hey, we're going to have a little open carry cookout. Come join us. We just want to talk, firearms and rights with you and just sit down and have a meal and break bread, I think that'd be a great way to create rapport with the community,
What
if
kind
we
of
have
food
a
are you
cookout,
serving?
can we have hot dog sandwiches?
Burger steaks, lots of bacon, all things.
Hot dog sandwiches.
Yep. Yeah. Hot dog sandwiches, Slim Jim cakes because they're candy bars. I don't even know. Whatever you want, it does.
I'll be there.
All right, man. Sounds good. But yeah, I mean, there are good examples we can set where we could start to build support in the community. You know,
what people have to keep in mind, our people, is that we have to be mindful of the image that people who have no vested interest one way or another perceive us.
Yeah.
You know, because they're the ones that are out there thinking, well, them guys with guns are horrible. We got to get rid of that. Or them guys weren't doing anything wrong at all.
Yeah. Well, you know, again, we do what we got to do the right thing. That's the most important thing. And trying to make a spectacle of yourself, your 15 minutes of YouTube fame, because it could get you killed. So, and that's the reality of it too, you know. Because I've seen a lot of the open carry videos where the guys are walking down the street, 3 or 4 cops roll up on him, jump out with their service weapons drawn on him, and he's like, "Oh, I got every right to." And they're yelling back and forth. Man, all it takes is one person to light it up, and that's it. You know.
I gotta tell you,
you know,
if I had somebody call on me while I was open carrying while walking the dog, and the cops rolled up and they pulled guns on me, I'd be madder than hell. I'd be madder than hell. Who do you think you are? You don't know me. Am I threatening anybody? Is this thing left its holster? I haven't broken any laws. I'd be madder than hell. But I'll deal with it later. I will deal with that later. Right then and there is not the time, because they've already got guns pointed at you. They got rounds in the chamber. Safeties are off. Fingers are on the trigger, and you got your gun in your holster. I don't care who you think you are. You aren't going to draw faster. And even if you do, you just murdered 2 cops. You didn't do anything good for our cause. So even though they're in the wrong, if your state says you can just walk down the street with a gun, you know, because they didn't stop and ask you who you were, what you were doing, or just, you know, that's why I say if you show them, here's my ID, run my stuff, find out I have no criminal record, run the serial number on a gun, find out it's registered to me or that it's not stolen. All right, now you need to be saying have a nice day. I have had that situation with a cop once, and she was not at all uncomfortable with me having a rifle in the truck. And it's just, I complied. I answered every question. I complied. We talked. It was all good.
Yeah.
So if you, even though you're mad, put your emotions in check, get home alive, and try not to make those guys feel uncomfortable. Because some of those guys, they have had situations, or they know other people in law enforcement have had situations where they were just serving a warrant or pulling somebody over in routine traffic or whatever and got blasted. Maybe they're a little edgy. They're a little, you know, and I guarantee if you shoot, even if you feel that your life is in danger, you shoot at a cop, your life is over. You're going to jail. You'll never see the light of day again. If that cop shoots you, the worst thing that's going to happen to him is he's going to lose his job.
Yeah.
Well, now, this is a question that needs to be raised in concealed carry and your rights to I can't think of it now. Your rights to defend yourself in your home. Here, if somebody's forcing their way through your door, you have the legal right to shoot them because they are committing what is known as a forcible felony. So you have this happen. What happens if it's freaking cops busting through your freaking door? And
they're supposed to announce it. I mean, I know that sometimes when they do those raids and stings, they just toss a flashbang in there. And, you know, after they've shot a couple people, then they say police officer. I mean, and I'm kind of making a little bit of light of that. But, yeah, I don't know. I mean, around here, there was a case in my county, I think it was 2 years ago, where some drunk, deranged person was beating on the door of a house they did not live in a city they did not live in the middle of the night. And the owner shot them through the door. And that owner went to jail. The gun owner went to jail because they didn't even identify the threat. It's on the other side of that door. So, but I mean, if somebody busts in my house, if it's the police and they're serving a warrant on my house because they think they went to the wrong address, like in that Tom Selleck movie, Innocent Man or whatever. I mean, I don't know. At that point, you know, you're going down no matter what. And I guess you're going to need your day in court, which totally sucks because you were in the right and they went to the wrong address. But, I mean, other than a situation like that, you've got to abide by your your state's laws. And I know in my state, you're better to err on the side of caution and not do anything than to do something. But I know in other states, you can just blast anybody and get away with it.
Well, see, that's what Illinois, our castle doctrine law says that anybody committing a forcible felony, whereas you're at risk because of this, so, and they consider breaking down your door as people being prepared to deal with occupants inside. So your life is in danger in that circumstance. So if somebody gets through the door, and by through the door, it just means gets the door open, you can light them up legally.
I would say unless the cops think your house is a crack house, they're going to knock on the door. There's going to be 2 of them. They're going to have a warrant in an envelope. They're going to allow you to open the door, look through your window, whatever it is. And, whatever's going to happen is going to happen in the doorway. Now, I'm not saying, that guy in Maryland at 5:17 in the morning, the 2 cops knock on his door to serve and it's like, dude, that was just a bad call. You don't serve that sort of warrant at that time. I know that, once again, in my county a couple of years ago, they were going into the house because it was a crack house, but they had women and children in there. They wanted to get in there because of the drugs and the guns. And instead of serving a warrant in the middle of the day and maybe surrounding the house with a whole bunch of people or trying to catch these guys when they're out in town and then going back and serving a warrant on a house when they're not there, they busted in the middle of the night. They busted through the front window. The guy steps over the couch. There's a 7-year-old sleeping on the couch. He has an ND and kills the 7-year-old. Bad call, guys. You didn't get your intelligence right, and you didn't find out how many people are in the house. Do they all sleep in the same? The house actually had a lot of people in it. They were sleeping in every room. They were only after like a couple people, and they did find drugs and guns in the house. But they could have handled that better. So once again, that's on LEO, and because we're not in that field, we can't control that. We can't have it. We can't be the one that raises a hand at the briefing and go, sir, wouldn't we be better off serving this guy's warrant maybe in the afternoon instead of at 5 in the morning, or how many people are in the house? Do we know for sure? Has anybody been watching the house for a week? Or
probably a dozen cars parked out front too.
Right.
You would see that to be obvious. Like, wow, we have 7 cars out front of a 3-bedroom house. Maybe somebody owns a lot of cars, but still.
Well, in that particular circumstance for myself, I don't have to worry about it because I know these police personally. So they know me, and they've known me for years and years and years. They know that if they need to haul me in, they can come down and I'll completely cooperate and not give them any static. But I just, because that was a scenario they presented in our concealed carry class. And these guys said that they didn't know the answer. The way the law was written is you're perfectly legal to light up that cop if he breaks in your door without announcing who he is. I'm like, I don't see how you win in that situation.
I don't want to make sure my house isn't on fire first. Maybe make sure they got a gun drawn or something before I decide to pull the trigger. I don't know. But again, that could just be a bad situation. So
make sure the survivors know to sue the living hell out of the police department, but understand this, even though it's kind of the right thing to do, the only person paying for it is the taxpayers, not really it's like when you sue the school, the taxpayers pay for it, not really the school.
Well, there's insurance that covers it, but that is also paid through, taxes for the insurance policies for the school and stuff. So, hey guys, we're going to go ahead and close this one down. There is one question that Tacos and French Fries had left over. We're going to save it for next week. Where have all the milsurps gone? So we'll have a little discussion on that next week. So we're going to go and end this one. It's 11 o'clock Central Time, and I really want to get out to the range and enjoy a couple hours of sunlight. It's warming up outside. So we're going to go and call this one. Joining in with us over on the YouTube side, we had Psycho316. We had Tim Foley out there, another fellow Nebraskan in Nebraska. David Bowling, Jim Burgess out there, Hawaii Volcano Squad out there. 04 Hemi joined in with us. Frank Hellman was out there too. Guitar Man Pete. Stan Bodenall was with us. Good to see you, Stan. Let's see who else was out there. Jumpy Killer in the house. Jim Burgess out there. We mentioned that before. Jim had to take off, so he went ahead and left. Ghost Tactical joined us for a little while. Thanks for doing that, bud. Again, Sandhill Shooter, thanks for joining us. Night Strike, thanks for being here. Anybody else that's left the chat? Local 223 in the house. Digital Prophet 4D83 is with us. Thanks for joining in, buddy. Mad Sexy out there. Boob Jiggles was with us too. The Rolling Trip, Pink Panther 69 out there. And Tacos and French Fries, thanks for joining us. Patrick Pew Pew, a lot of people. If I miss anybody, I apologize. Hypo Drake, Gun Snob. And looks like that's about it. So a lot of people kind of coming and going. Enrique Sonora joining in. And Tread. So Ozzy Osbourne with us too. So that is it. Over on the gun channel side, we had Jim over there, and Jim was here. Dead Horse was out there, and Paper Plane Crash was out there, and I believe Patrick, if I'm not mistaken. So we had a pretty good group joining us today to join in the chats. We had a lot of discussions. We talked about purchasing powder for reloading. What do you need to know? What guns would you buy if you had $3,000? And then also just some basic questions from Tacos and French Fries, our favorite guns and why. What are we stocking up on now? And is it open carry legal interstate? So we will talk about the milsurp idea next week, because you're starting to see some of these milsurp guns show up again, and there's still some consistent supply out there, but there's a lot of things that have disappeared, and prices are definitely going up as Mosin prices continue to rise. So anyway, I'm going to let the panel go ahead and say a few final words before we go. So David, we'll start off with you. Any final bits of info or anything you want to plug before we call it?
No, just thanks for having me. I guess
Cool.
if yeah, I'll go ahead and plug Rick's Life. Check out Rick's Life as I see it at 3 p.m. Eastern. And thanks for having me, Travis. And
Yeah, no problem.
thanks everybody in the panel and in the chat for a good conversation.
Hey, good deal, man. Thanks for joining us. All right, Gizzard Gary, any final words of advice? Anything you want to plug?
Can you hear me?
It's a little quiet, but we can make you out. Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I'm in the car.
Oh, it's okay, man.
Check out my website. I've got some content this next couple weeks because I'm off work. I'm on vacation.
So do make sure you check out Gizzard Gary's channel over there on YouTube, and you can find him over on gunchannels.com. All right, so Gary, you're a robot now, buddy. I apologize, man. All right, so do make sure you check out his channel over there on YouTube. He's got a lot of good content. So.
Anyway,
All right. Oh, man. I'm sorry.
For anybody out there who's never done a hangout, on the other end, you can't tell that you're roboting, but everybody else sounds loud and clear. So
yeah,
he probably has no idea that he's roboting.
Right. So Gary, thank you for joining us, man. I do appreciate it. You've been with us quite a few on a lot of these episodes. Thanks for joining in, buddy. Make sure you check out his channel over on YouTube. John Z, any final words of wisdom, buddy?
Just thank you for the invite. Happy to be here. Always a good chat with you guys.
Yeah.
Don't forget to go ahead and sub everybody on the panel. Check out the community. Don't forget to check out gunchannels.com and gearwebsites.com as well.
Cool.
And anytime anybody thinks I have something to add, feel free to send me an invite. Otherwise, I may not know there's a chat going on till mid-show.
Okay. Well, I need to get your email address from you so I can send you links if you want to join in or get in the discussion or chat. So I don't know if I had your email address or not. I'll have to go back and check my Gmail, but they got you the link for this one, but we'll make sure we get it to you
It's
next
the
time.
John Z one or the John Z project. They're all Gmail.
Okay.
And that's about it. Thanks everybody for joining us, and hopefully we'll catch you on the next awesome chat.
Sounds good, man. Thank you so much. All right, Squid, any parting words, bud?
Check out Lock and Load on the Hawaii Volcano Squad channel Mondays at about 10 Eastern. And everybody have a good weekend. Thanks for the invite.
Cool, man. Appreciate it. Tony, any final words, man?
You really need to make up a scroll in the beginning and the end of this show with, each of us are in the show and all of that with the information under it, and we could have an extra hour of communication.
Yep. Well, I don't want to miss anybody. I like to give people the recognition they deserve for hanging out with us for 3 hours and putting up with us and trying to absorb what little droplets of wisdom we do actually do have to share. So
why not just have why not just have all the information scrolling through the screen and have like one of those old game shows from the 1960s music playing in the background?
Just sit there, scroll like all the people that were chatting the whole time. You know, in that tune or whatever.
Exactly.
Well, I think everybody on the internet and the whole world knows who I am. So
there you go. You're the one and only Tony, man. That's it. All right. So again, Tony, thanks for joining in, man. I do appreciate it.
It was my pleasure.
All right. For anybody else that was in the chat, thanks for joining in today. Again, check out the channel Travis P11 on YouTube. You can also follow Caliber Corner over on gunchannels.com, on Gunstreamer, UGEtube, guntube.org. You can support the channel through Patreon if you want to. It's Travis P11 / Patreon. It's always good to get that. If you're a patron of mine, I put the videos up weeks in advance. You get to see them. I usually drop a bunch of videos in a row, and then you can catch up on them. You guys get to see them quite a bit earlier than everyone else. Done a few Patreon exclusive drawings, so if you want to support that way, that's great too. All the money goes back into the channel, goes into everything you see sitting here, guns, ammo, cameras, all that fun stuff. So anyway, guys, that's it. This has been Caliber Corner episode number 72. We should be back next Saturday. Not a problem there. We will definitely talk about those milsurps. What is the market looking like? What's out there? Are there any good deals left in milsurps? What do you need to know? And we'll have a few more topics thrown in there too. I've got a lot of your requested topics that we have yet to cover, so we will do that. So guys, have yourselves a great weekend. Get out, do some shooting, get out, get some sun, and otherwise we will we'll talk to you soon. Have fun, be safe, and we'll talk to you next week. All right, bye.
Bye, Alicia.
And for those of you that habla español, adios, Felicia.
Shall that be a